How's the microphone check? Is it too muffled? Is it too low? What we doing? Let's get some real feedback. Ah, it sounds good. You know, it's crazy. I didn't bought like three headset microphone trying to get noise cancellation so you guys can't hear the background. And I just spent $140, took it back, garbage. I didn't spend 150, took it back, garbage. I didn't spend 84, and that was the headset you guys been listening to for the last couple of days. I'm gonna take that back tomorrow. Okay, and then I bought this cheap. That was $84. I was in Best Buy as I returned a $150 headset microphone thing, and something said, just look around, just buy something cheap, just to whatever. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Man, this thing sounds so far, it sounds way better. It's like $50, yo. I have bought me a mixer, you know, with the sound effects. I could press a button and it'll play something, you know, some sound effects, like Wheezy out of or like some laughing or crickets. You know, I gotta have something for Tether New and the trolls that call in. The Jeopardy clock, you know, things like that. Have some fun with these guys. The little smack horn sounds. Bang, bang. Little standing ovation, you know, mess around a little bit, have some fun. All right, but let me share let's not delay. No. Okay, so Chief Karen, he's realizing he don't get no views, so because he is all over the place as far as content. If people want to know how to build their content up, you better look at you better look at what I'm doing. Like, see how consistent I am in everything I'm doing. All right, these guys be all over the place with content. One show, they're talking about hip hop. Another show, whether dinosaurs lived or not. The next show, they're just arguing and screaming. It's just wild. Look at my content. It's very consistent. I go live. People kind of can guess what we're going to talk about. All right. Anyway. Anyway, that Chief Karen guy. So he tried to do a live today. Oh, some old stuff he's trying to bring back. Like, these guys are just outdated, old. I call the old folks outaged. They're outaged. So he's outaged and he's old. He's stuck in the 90s. And a lot of these old men, they hate Tariq Nasheed. And look, they hate each other. Unc hates Chief Karen. Chief Karen hates Unc. Reverend Reggie, same thing. All these old people hate each other, but they got one thing in common. They all hate Tariq Nasheed alike. And it's like, why? Like, you know, okay. For one, Tariq, like I think they think he kept himself up better than them. Right? That's one. Two, he's well spoken. He got charisma. They don't. Then he's funny. He's everything they want to be, basically. And that intimidates them. That don't intimidate real black men like myself. Real foundation black men that's older. That don't because you know why? Because I guess we had like different exposures growing up with like people. I'm very sociable. Like, I can meet somebody anywhere and I would be having a conversation. It's that easy to meet people. And like, people usually grasp towards me because I can pretty much talk about anything. You dig? And have some good information or just about anything. People like that. Like, for example, religion. If I'm around Orthodox Muslims, they will appreciate me. Even though I'm not Muslim, they're gonna think I am, because just what I know about Islam, and I'm not gonna like bash it or speak against it. I'm just gonna talk. Catholic, same thing. Christian, Jehovah's Witness, whatever. Mormon, same thing. Same thing. It just, Jehovah's Witness. I just know how to just talk to people without always debating or offending people. Okay, so they hate that Tariq Nasheed has attracting power. He can attract the masses. Like when he speaks, he demands ears. Like literally, he's everything they want to be. He's everything they wanted to be, and they kind of gave up. And then when they go online, nobody listens. It's like, dude, what are you doing? So the dude, Chief Karen, made a video. FBA versus ADOS. Now, his videos don't hit anyway, but this was his biggest flop. About 4 people, literally about 4 people was listening. That's because you're trying to make up something that does not exist. I explained that to somebody recently. Said there's no FBA ADOS going back and forth nowhere in those spaces. Are you serious? You made that up. So she tried to bring that back around. ADOS versus FBA. Man, ain't nobody. 4 people was in there listening. 4 people. Another failed video. But this was, it topped the others. Literally 4 people watching. He was so embarrassed, he shut it down in 35 minutes. And normally his videos be 5 hours. This was 35 people. His ego couldn't take 4 people entertaining the clown show. There's no spaces where FBA and ADOS are going at it. And he tried to do something with that. Dude, stop. That went nowhere. So I was invited to a panel, well, not officially, by a viewer. Like, yo, check this out. So apparently, Brother Sanchez is, a matter of fact, let me just play it. But it looks like Sonetta, when they got him, like Sonetta just obsessed with speaking down on FBA ADOS, U.S. freedmen, descendants of freedmen. He's obsessed with anybody who would come on his show and talk down. Like he would invite literally anybody. Like there's like no standard. Like, okay, now let me just invite scholars. His scholars won't. Like his scholars won't. I'm sure he was in Brother Jabari's ear. Nope. I'm sure he was in Shaka Atmo's ear. Nope. Because they low-key agree with it. You feel me? So he couldn't get his best scholars to speak against it. So he is getting just anybody. So he got Unc 1,000 times. He got Reverend Reggie 1,000 times, and some weirdos that come on there that sounds they sound crazy. At least get Ruxpin. Like he don't even know who to go get. At least go get Ruxpin. Ruxpin would be his best scholar to like disrespect us. Okay, so anyway, speaking of Ruxpin had a show with a Garveyite, a UNIA member who was trying to show us real leadership. This guy, first of all, the dude is a member of the UNIA. He's a current member. So come on, bro. You don't consider that. You interviewing a guy who's a member. You think he's going to keep it real? He's going to have confirmation bias. You dig? Which he did. He was romanticizing Garvey. Oh, my God. Garvey can't do no wrong. He's a perfect leader. So I caught the live late. So when I joined it, they read my comment stood out because I was cooking on Garvey. So tomorrow I'm gonna show you that one. I'm gonna pick it up where they was reading my comments, and so then Ruxpin asked a guy about some of my comments, and the guy couldn't answer. One of my comments was that stop it. I said Garvey sold stocks, and well, first of all, I'm the one who said Garvey was selling stocks illegally. He got fined. So he asked the Garveyite, was that true? The Garveyite pretty much said, yeah. Okay. But he tried to blame the white man. Oh, the white man was in family. It just keep coming back down. When these guys got a scammer and they're caught red-handed, they all just come back down to the white man. Oh, the white man, the white man. That's all they do. That's all the booty scratchers in Africa do. The booty scratchers in the island do. The Pan-African booty scratchers, they all just simply blame the white man. Oh, it's the white man's fault. It's the white man's fault Garvey sold illegitimate stocks. It's the white man's fault Garvey was deported for scamming Black Americans. It's the white man's fault that Africans sold FBAs across the waters. It's the white man's fault why feathers have this hate that's taught to them by their parents. It's the white man's fault. It's the white man's fault for everything they do wrong. But for us, when we do something wrong, we're just degenerate. We're just born like that. We're just low IQ. That's all they all say about us. Reverend Reggie, Ruxpin, all of them. Oh, that man, stupid. And some of them got room to talk. It's ridiculous. Oh, hey, stupid. They don't write a book. They don't read a book. Like Sean, oh my gosh, Sean is a known illiterate. Oh, FBAs are stupid. You haven't wrote a paper. Okay. Anyway, let me first share this video right here. Before I go there, let me go here, family. Let me go here. DJ FaZe, hey man, I holler at DJ FaZe. I asked permission. Well, first of all, he could come on anytime he wants. But number one, if he want to come on, he could come on and go in. Like, you know what I mean? I said, I'll go on mute. You dig? Like, he could go in. It'd be lovely to go in doing work. I could listen to it. Yeah, so DJ FaZe got something to say. He had one video, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I can't watch but so many videos in one day or 1 week. But he had one video explaining the hip hop instruments. I seen the title. But yeah, I would love him to do that over here. Go in 2, 3, 4 hours. You dig? So yeah, I would love for DJ FaZe to give us some hip hop history. All right. Okay. So now let's get this party started, right? Set it off on your left, bro. Set it off on. Okay. So let's share the screen. Let's set it up. So I'm gonna play this now. I'm gonna play this a little later. These are shorts, 2 shorts. Then I'm gonna go into Sanchez. What are you talking about? You dig it? Okay, so this is the chat. Everybody looking at? Peace to the family. I'm doing my little walk. You dig? And here we go. So let's get out of here. Let's go right here. Look at this trash right here. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. I gotta hit the button. Hold on. Yo, why can I not hit the button from this screen? That's weird. Why gotta always go out? Why is there not an option? Okay. I didn't hit the share audio button, so you would have just seen the tether mouth moving, the suspected tether mouth moving, but you wouldn't have heard any words. If my audio is clear, let me know. Just press 1 or something if my audio is clear. Let me go back and let me share the audio. I almost made that mistake. There we go. Okay, now we got it. This is
Mayweather's best combo. Mayweather feints a right hand to the head, getting his...
Here we are. Let's hit it trash. We are not a man-made construct.
No.
Both the foundation and black are man-made constructs.
Right.
We are not a man-made construct.
No.
Both the foundation and black are man-made constructs.
Right. Now you hear her, Pan-African man? Oh yeah. Now, okay, sis, okay. What do you call yourself? We'll wait because whatever her answer says, I'm sorry, whatever her answer is, will be a man-made construct. It's like, yo, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Her Pan-African man, like, yeah, that's man-made. So Pan-Africanism, Pan-African, that's not man-made. That's not a man-made construct. You call yourself African-American. Does that terminology come from Mars? Does that come from an angel? Angel Gabriel? Come on, man. It's a man-made construct. But this is how far they would go to undermine us, yo. They know we are royal. You guys don't know that. Because if you knew you're royal, when I go live, the chat would be lit every time. You dig? You guys need to believe in yourself. You guys need to believe there's power in your lungs, in your breath, in your brain, your mind, your heart, your soul, your glow. You got to believe that. A lot of people don't. Like, to some people, this is the church. They tune in to feel good. They don't want to really learn good and be good. All right, so we out of there. Look at this right here. Oh, boy. I just had it.
For a lot of Nigerians that travel abroad got this talk from their family where they will sit you down and tell you, you're going there, don't go and talk to those black Americans, they are gang banging. They give you that talk that just go to the white community, find a nice place.
And that's one thing I do appreciate about black Americans is that our lineage is built in being resilient. We have fought for everything in this country. Not only did we build it, did we fight for it, we fought for others. I can't understand how somebody has the ability to leave their home country and then come to another country and then shit on the people that made it possible for you to leave your living situation from your country. I can understand the FBA movement. I know a lot of people try to say it's divisive. What they're trying to do is establish black Americans from other people in the diaspora, the same way people in the diaspora do.
Well, a lot of Nigerians that travel abroad got this talk from their family where they will sit you down and tell you.
A lot of them got this talk from their family where they'll sit you down and tell you, so ain't no white man sitting. So we got to get the lie right, Feathers. Because they'll say it's immigration who brainwashes them. It's movies. No, this is their parents. They'll sit them down and do what?
You're going there. Don't go and talk to those black Americans. They are gang banging. They give you that talk.
Don't talk to the black Americans. They're gang bangers. I mean, damn. You talk about calling the pot caller. How that phrase go? I ain't gonna try to say it. But yeah. You talk about pointing the finger and three coming back at you. God damn. He said they sit each other down and say, don't hang around the black people. We're gangbangers. But then now there's no doubt there's more white supremacists per capita amongst white society than there is gangbangers amongst black society. But don't hang around black gangbangers, but go around white people, the white supremacists. Look at it.
Just go to the white community, find a nice place.
And that's one thing I do appreciate.
Go to the white community, find a nice place. So they could find the worst amongst us and condemn the whole entire lineage as gangbangers. But there's 400 years of history of white supremacists doing the most inhumane thing known to man and man history, and for this country for sure. And they can't see that. That's why I say, yo, we're not falling for that, man. We're not falling for, oh no, these people just watch movies. No, these people are divisive, they're toxic, and we need to stay away from them. We gotta stay far away from these people. We're gangbangers. They can look at us in our face, work with us. Some of us are their doctors, lawyers. Some of us help them get over here, work in immigration. And when they see us, they see gangbangers. A gangbanger, that's a doctor. A gangbanger, that's a police officer. A gangbanger, that's a judge. A gangbanger, that's a teacher, neighbor, you dig, student, patient. They see us as gangbangers. Dang, that's deep. All right, anyway, what the hell is Sanchez talking about?
Sorry about that.
Yes, sir.
Did you send the link out to the brothers, to the other fam?
I'm about to hear from yours, right? Thing is, a lot of our people, Sonetta, love ICE because they feel like illegal immigrants is a threat to our jobs. You know, this is the main argument.
Now, by the way, that's a straw man. That's somebody's main argument. That's an argument. That's not the main argument. But that is an argument. That is an argument. That's not the main argument. The argument is nobody should be here illegally. That's the argument. The argument is if you're illegal, you need to be deported. So don't give us a straw man. Oh, and then family, that's all they do is frame us. Oh, their argument is this. That is their main. No, it's not. Our main argument is if you're illegal, you should get out of our country. And if you don't self-deport, ICE going to assist you out of here. Get it, Alcatraz, Venezuela. Where we dropped the hell off? Somewhere in Africa, Swatini, South Africa, somewhere where you're gonna learn African South African culture. Since y'all want to cosplay, yeah. But our main argument isn't the job. That's an argument, and that's a legitimate argument. We're talking about resources. We're talking about monies that goes to these people that's not coming to us. They're switching money that was for us for certain things like education and job placement, job skill, right? Those monies leave as non-speaking people come here, and that money get divvied up and it goes to ESL programs. That's either true or false. You dig? These folks now are getting paid to go to school. That's either true or false. And the money is limited. The resources are limited. So every one of them that goes to school, get your job training, get their GED, trucking, any money that goes to them is coming away from a potential Black American. That's the fact. But again, and then not just the legal ones, the money get divvied up to the illegal ones too. That's what the ESL programs are mainly for. Mainly the illegal ones don't speak English. Mainly them. If you get somebody illegal, most likely they don't speak Spanish. They don't speak English. I dropped my other phone. I dropped my phone the other day going live, and I stopped. The Spanish guy was snowing, so the Spanish guy was blowing something. Like, yo, you see a phone? Yeah. You see a phone? No. Okay, whatever. Then I go ahead and ask. I see a dark-skinned dude, a melanated dude. I'm like, yo, he's also blowing. I say, yo, you see a phone? Yo, this dude spoke less Spanish. I mean, he spoke less. Damn, I'm tripping. He spoke less English than the Spanish guy. This dude spoke nothing but Creole. But he got a contract to blow somebody's parking lot. So again, that's either true or false, man. Don't give us straw men. And yet, I worked at 2 places for sure that's like 98% Hispanic. And one I work with a friend, I could call him right now on the fly, and he has no idea what I'm talking about, and just ask him about that place. And I could like throw him off. I could ask, like, hey, how was it? Because he didn't like it. It was a beef manufacturing company. It was a beef distribution company. He ain't like it. Nobody likes it. It stink in there. It's real meat. The color of your meat in that place where we get it ain't what you get at a supermarket. Whatever they put in there to make it pink, that ain't the color. Okay, you never eating fresh meat at a supermarket. You can believe a lie all you want. You gotta go to a butchery where they actually kill it right in front of you. If these folks are not killing it in front of you, or at least claiming they did it sometime that week, at a supermarket, at a restaurant, your meat is minimal 1 year old. 1 year old. Okay, now you can believe lies all you want. Okay, you could want to believe that steak was fresh. It tastes so fresh. All right, comparable to what? Another 1 year old steak, you dig? Yeah, you got to compare that to a real fresh steak. And then you'll be able to discern if it was fresh or not. Okay, so but anyway, I throw them off by questions like that. Then after I throw them off, I will ask the real question, bro. Was the job like? I'll say, what the job was majority what ethnicity? I'm like 95%. What ethnicity? He's gonna say Hispanic, Latino. So this straw man old boy guy is weak.
And I ain't mad at them for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what career field a person is in, and maybe it is a threat to their job. But I do know that when the illegal immigrants was getting laid off on the West Coast, all of the fruit farmers was like, we don't have no one to work for us. Well,
right, because nobody works for $1. The hell wrong with you, man? Right. Family, which one of y'all is gonna work anywhere? I don't give a damn if you were hired to be the CEO of Verizon Wireless or Verizon. Which one of y'all gonna take that position making 12 grand a year? So it's not about what you do at a job. It's not about the labor, my guy. It's the compensation. So he's totally lost. And but everybody's smart.
The Negroes who want the jobs, you know. So that was the thing. I don't think that it.
Hey, family, I'm done with that because it's bad faith argument. It's bad faith arguing. It's a lot of framing. The dude is acting like these guys were getting paid a fair wager, you dig, for farming, and then their illegal status got them deported. But hold on. But let's talk about how they even got employed in the first place. So we're gonna skip that part, right? So, because I know one thing is that when I go for a job, they want my license, my social security card, all that, and you too. They want a resume. They want accurate dates. They want a reference. They want to know if they can call your boss. And if you can't provide that, you ain't getting a job. Okay, so I do know that. I do know for me to get a job, the stakes are high. Okay, but for other folks that get here illegally, all they gotta do is say, I'm willing to work, and they are working. No resume, no references, no how long you been there, what's the reason for leaving, why you been there only for 3 months. You know how a job be like, so you left in you've been there for 8 months, what happened? All that right there ain't happening with them. These guys, though, they can't answer, they can't provide one document that you're required to provide, and they can't answer one question that you are required to answer. And your answers or your lack of certain documents would determine whether you get hired or not. Right? These guys are hired. They just show up. No interview. So we ain't gonna talk about that part, right? No interview. They just show up and say, I want a job, and boom, they're working. You to work where they work at, you need a resume. You need proof of this. You need references. You dig? Yeah. All right. Let me cook a little bit. Is that true or false? May I share my screen? Let me talk to the family. Family? Did you ever consider that? Did you ever consider what you're required to answer and provide, and that will determine your job? That would determine your job onboarding activity. Okay? And look, they all ain't work at a farm. You know, they all ain't Nelly. What you think I live on a farm? They gotta be for real. I got Range Rovers and Escalade. Nah. Not all live on a farm, brother. They all work on a farm. They work at meat manufacturers, right? That if you guys work there, you would make a nice little penny. Depending on the state, if that was up in New Jersey, that's $20 an hour or better for sure. You dig, with benefits. But again, what background do you have, Foundation Black American? What background do you have that can justify you applying for this job? Have you done it before? You did. Do you have a valid driver's license? Look, how about check this out? How about what if your driver's license is suspended? You know you're gonna you know it's a rat, right? You gotta have a unexpired driver license. If that thing is expired or suspended, definitely expired. If it's expired, kiss that goodbye. They're gonna ask you to go ahead and update your driver license. You dig? So this is what we're talking about. Okay? Then they're gonna ask you this. Then they're gonna have the nerve to ask you, oh shit, I keep dropping this phone. I'm buying a new one anyway. Don't even matter. I'm buying a new one anyway. Don't even matter. I didn't mess the case up. Then they got the nerve to ask you, do you have a way to work? Like they want to know, you can say, yeah, I got my brother, or yeah, I'm a Uber, I got a taxi, I ride a bike. They ain't trying to, well, I got, bus. Bro, you say that if you want. If you say anything other than you drive a car, you just risk your employment chances. And y'all know I'm not lying. Anybody that's over 35, you know I'm not lying. They ask you, do you have reliable transportation? Do you drive, basically? That's all that means. Do you drive a car? Let me say anything other than no. Or, I'm sorry, anything other than yes. Kiss that job goodbye. Dang, I keep, all right, whatever. Stay. Shit. What time is it? Oh, okay, it's a wrap. Hold it real fast, family. Yeah, family. What they gonna say if you say anything other than I don't have a reliable transportation? You are out of there. You dig? These folks come here with everything you don't have. Or let me word that better. Let me word that better. Let me word that better. Everything you don't have, they have less than that. Everything you don't have that's going to get you denied for that job, they have less than that. Yo, family, we be qualified than a mother for positions. We got a long job history. We have the skills, the experience, the expertise, and you get that email. Oh, we looked over your resume, and unfortunately, we decided to move on without you. Good luck, or just follow our website. You get some. Look out for a future job. Like no, like I'm telling you, man. And y'all all experience that. In favor over somebody who's going to work for $4 an hour under the table, no benefits, 80 hours a week. You dig? So, old boy ain't gonna mention the fact that these people are being exploited. But these illegals, they are rolling back the civil rights movement and all the labor laws that we fought for, all the union laws that we fought for. These illegals are undermining all of it. They're rolling it back. He ain't gonna talk about those illegal farms that got raided. They are underage children. What about the Child Labor Act? Okay, what about that? That's why, like, when they be on these panels it ain't gonna be no real legitimate conversation. They're gonna talk over you. Sanetta's gonna butt in. So Brother Sanchez, when you're ready, come over here, man. Come over here. If you really believe that, come over here. Because you know that I already know he don't have an understanding of Black history. Like during that time when we was fighting for labor laws and union laws and child, all that type of stuff, and the Civil Rights Act. I know he has limited information to say something like he just did. Like, he's not saying legal. He's not saying legal. He's saying illegal. Yo, if they're illegal, they shouldn't be over here. What are we talking about past that? Illegal? Oh, no, they got to go. You see? Yo, if they commit a crime, which they've been doing, there's no way to track these guys. Yo, y'all ever watch those, who be on IG and see those dark web moments? These guys be chopping each other down with the Draco and whatever else. They be chopped. I mean, family, they are the most brutal murderers on the net in the world. These Latinos. I mean, just ruthless. They come right over here with that type of immoral. Who that? And then they're illegal. Get rid of you, go right back to where they snuck out of. Nah, we're good, man. When you're illegal, family, they are the main ones who are doing the crimes, scamming, all that stuff, man. Like, come on, stop. So to sit here, but you know what? Brother Sanchez, you were saying you're FBA, because he was over here stomping hard for FBA, the lineage. And now he's talking like that. I can only suspect that name Sanchez. I can only suspect that name Sanchez. Maybe he found out he ain't FBA. He Panamanian some shit. I don't know. Okay. I can only suspect what he found out lately with a name like Sanchez. You got to explain that, my guy. You just found out you're Panamanian, and all of a sudden you anti-FBA. So his argument essentially was anybody for ICE is wrong. ICE violates rights. Well, hold on. So illegal person got just stop it. What rights, what laws they abided by to get in this country? Man, what you talking about, bro? Going off rumors and Democrat propaganda. Like, stop. Nah, that ain't working, my guy. Anyway. So yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Like I said, name like Sanchez, he's looking real shaky, baby. But yeah, the link is there for you, my guy. Let's talk about this ICE issue. Our main argument, they're taking the jobs. And that's one of the arguments. That ain't the main one. The main argument is, why are they here illegally? We know the Democrats allowed them to come in wholesale to undermine us, undermine foundation Black Americans. This always been the game. So, Yvette Carnell, she just came out with a video today. She's live. She might be going off right now, but she was live today. I encourage all of y'all to watch that. Matter of fact, I might even just share her whole live broadcast tomorrow and risk getting flagged, because it was debunking Pan-Africanism, all that stuff they trying to do right now. Oh my God, she was on fire. She was on fire cooking them. So what we got to do is we got to get over, like, those who are FBA who got an issue with Tariq Nasheed or ADOS, get over it. Get over it. Those who are FBA ADOS got an issue with Yvette Carnell personally, get over it. Get over it. The information is what separates me from you guys. I don't get emotional. I cannot like you at all, but if you got some good information, I'll watch you just for that. But any show where you just rambling and it's all about you, I won't watch. But if it's dropping science information, I'm tuning in. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? You could be KKK. If you got some deep stuff that I could throw in my arsenal, make my argument stronger for the lineage, help signal boost, I'm tuning in. I'm extracting. Like how they extract oil. I'm extracting your oil and then I'm out. I ain't gonna sit around and get this. You know what I mean? Anyway, I was watching another Tariq Nasheed video, right? And the black came back out without even finishing the other one. So let's look at it. Let's look at it. Yeah, so Tariq, so I wrote in the comments, like, big bro, man, tap in. I left my email. Now big bro ain't go live Sunday. I don't know where he's at, vacation. I don't know where he's at. But he didn't go live Sunday. And he ain't been dropping no videos that I know of. Like his normal premieres, like 10 o'clock, 12, 2. So I hope everything all right. I definitely had not been seeing no content from him. And he ain't do it live on Sunday that I'm aware of. So anyway, let me go to this video. Make sure I share the audio. All right, the audio is being shared. You see the chat. All right, let's go. So this video right, not that one. I don't know what these are. Okay, so this is her video right here. No, it's her reparations, Pan-Africanism. This video right here, she just ended it. It's an hour. I'm definitely playing this tomorrow. If y'all don't tune in tonight watching this, tune in tomorrow. And again, don't worry about her as a person. Just listen to the information. Like, she was cooking. Okay. Yeah, so I don't get caught up in the whole personality thing. The personality words. If you're cooking, you got great information, let me hold that. All right. So this is the video from the other day. This one right here. I don't want that one just yet. I want this one.
Valence, so that backlash starts hitting. These fraud scandals, they usually create a collective punishment atmosphere. And after major frauds, a lot of these agencies, they start overreacting. Then they start trying to tighten up the rules. They start trying to slow down on approvals. They'll do increased surveillance. So that backlash starts hitting communities that's already faced with, janky bureaucracy and all that stuff. And us, foundational Black Americans, people start questioning us and questioning our motives. So delineation is not just an identity, it's protection against that collective punishment. So that forces policymakers to really distinguish the harmed group from the opportunist. You see? And listen, man, if we don't define the category as foundational Black Americans, somebody else will. See, one reason why delineation is urgent, institutions, they'll label and define foundational Black Americans whether we participate or not. So without delineation, other groups and gatekeepers, they will start defining what Black means. And then who gets the Black resources? Who speaks as Black leadership? And that's how we start getting displaced. Notice now that the Somalis are getting and all that stuff, and us, foundational Black Americans, people start questioning us and questioning our motives. So delineation is not just an identity, it's protection against that collective punishment. So that forces policymakers to really distinguish the harmed group from the opportunist. You see? And listen, man, if we don't define the category as foundational Black Americans, somebody else will. See, one reason why delineation is urgent, see, institutions, they'll label and define foundational Black Americans whether we participate or not. So without delineation, other groups and gatekeepers, they will start defining what Black means.
There we go. They will start to undermine and define what Black means. And that's why we got to gatekeep it and take it away from them totally. Just like Black Americans are not allowed to have no say so in what Latino means, what Asian means, what white means, right? We have no say so because it doesn't apply to us. We got to make that clear. Like, yo, do not associate them with Black. They're not Black. Black is not some type of descriptor. Black is not some old global African thing, okay? Blackness is unique and it's only for us. You're confusing the masses on purpose by calling other people Black. Black has nothing to do with the color, has nothing to do with a color or African descent. Zero. It has everything to do with our unique experience. We're Black, no different than a person is Puerto Rican. We're Black, no different than a person is white American. We're Black, no different than a person is German, Ukrainian, Nigerian. Okay, so we don't go plastering everybody to be Nigerian, Ukrainian, that's Jewish. So don't plaster everybody to be Black. We're the, you know, I'm gonna start making like a Jewish Black parallel. Because it seems like the only way to get people attention is to like is to bring in the Jewish community. It's like, you see how they're protected group, they're Jewish, you got an anti-Semitic stuff going on, anti-Semitism. You have the wow, what's that group that protects them? The organization, I'm at a loss for words. The organization who protects the Jewish community from defamation, things like that. Okay, so we need an FBA organization like that. That's what we need. We need an because we're all doing it anyway. And if FBA gonna be tied to an organization, it should be an organization within the lineage of the Defamation League. What's that called? It's the Sun Defamation League. I got kind of close to it. Right. That's what we need. We need an FBA Anti-Defamation League. There we go. FBA Anti-Defamation League. Yeah, y'all should change my channel to FBA Anti-Defamation League. You see what I'm saying? So be like, no. When you look at FBA, look at Jewish people. We're doing the same thing. We're asking for the same thing. Reparations like them, to be a protected lineage like them, to be separate from everybody like them. Because a lot of the Jewish people are classified as white, okay? But they make it real clear. I'm white, I'm a white Jewish person. So I'm not technically white. Can't throw me into a white category, even though some of them are white. So even though some of us got African descent, don't throw us in there with Africans. Don't do that. Don't throw us in there with other folks with African descent, like the Caribbean. No. FBA Anti-Defamation League. Or we ain't got to say league, just FBA Anti-Defamation something, organization or group. FBA Anti-Defamation Group. You dig? Something like that. But everybody, matter of fact, that flag I made could be for that. That black flag I made with the where you see the civil rights movement, Dr. King speaking in front of Washington, D.C. That logo I made, that flag I made, could represent the FBA Defamation League, where it says 400 years of lineage. Okay. All right. That could be for that. Okay. So, but Mr. Tariq, if we just take black from them, then we don't have to worry about them changing black or making it mean something else because it does not apply to them. They have no power to do so. But if we keep giving them power to be black, then they got to say so. So we have a hell of a strong. Look at me. I came up with this argument myself, like the whole thing for blackness. Like we're the only people on earth to use black as a standalone ethnonym and as an endonym. We named ourselves. No oppressor, no colonizer, no enslaver, no Arab. We named ourselves and we defined it. And it's just black, nothing else. And you dig? The American is our nationality, but even without that, we're just black. Okay, we can get nationality in Uganda, and guess what? We're black Ugandians. You dig? Whatever. Okay, so the Ugandan, the American, just the no citizenship. You dig? But we're black, most importantly. We ain't like that zesty guy who said he's Christian first. We don't do that. We're black. Make no mistake. Okay. Anyway, let's play.
And then who they'll label and define foundational Black Americans, whether we participate or not. So without delineation, other groups and gatekeepers, they will start defining what Black means. And then who gets the Black resources? Who speaks as Black leadership? And that's how we start getting displaced. Notice now that the Somalis are getting targeted and they're getting called out for their scandals, all of a sudden everybody's Black. Ilan Omar remember she was on TV a couple of weeks ago. Yes, they're Black. They're doing the Black.
See. Now you see how the memo got to Ann Coulter. You see how the memo got to Donald Trump when Kamala was trying to claim she's Black. You see how the memo got to Tucker Carlson? Okay, then forget it then. Since the Democrats don't want to listen and respect our delineating and using delineating terms like Black exclusively just for us, then forget it. Let's send the memo to the Republicans. You dig? Let's do that. Send it to them and have them camping around. That'll piss the Democrats off. Say, look, the people who you say are the most racist are acknowledging our delineation movement and acknowledging that we're the only Black people. That white boy that I showed the other day beating up with that Black guy, he's like, yo, you're not Black. You're African. You're from Guinea somewhere. You're not Black. So even white Americans are like starting to get that memo and run with it. Like, yo, you know what? That is a great point, FBAs. They aren't Black. They're African, they're Jamaican. They're trying to tether on to, like, the white America know, like, here's the thing. There's always some big ass truck pulled next to me. I mean, I stopped just 1 second to throw something in the trash. Some big ass truck come next to me while I'm talking. right in front of me. Okay. So I think white supremacy want to go ham on tethers. They want to smack their koofies off, but they think we got their back. So when we're explaining, nah, we ain't them, they ain't us. We're foundation Black Americans. We're Black. They're Jamaican. They're not Black at all. Okay, they're misapplying Blackness on them for protection. You dig? To make you think they're with us or one of us. So we're saying, do you? We ain't got nothing to do with that. They ain't Black. They're not getting our protection. They're not getting our voices. We're not getting no march from us. Do you? Okay? The devil got to learn. That's what we're saying. Now you go do, and those white supremacists or those suspected white supremacists are noticing that. Like, all right, hold on. I don't think FBA is rocking with these tethers.
Black people, us Black people. Oh, look at what they're doing to us Black people and our Black immigrants and our Black people. We're Black people. Every goddamn thing is Black now. You see? Hold on, let me get RJ in here.
Right. And we gotta let them know, no, you're an immigrant. You're not Black. Black can't be immigrants. You know, it's like, well, come on, man, let's start talking. If you're black, it's impossible. That's a contradiction in terms. You cannot be black and an immigrant. Black means you're a citizen of the United States. Black means you have lineage before the country was a country, before citizenship was even a thing. We were black in this country. Okay, so or our lineage. We were not black as far as names, specific names, but our lineage that ended up being called black was already here. So we would be here before naturalization. We were here before American citizenship. You dig? So we predate all that stuff. Anyway, we were here before some of the early founding fathers. Okay. So yeah, no, you're not a black immigrant. Immigrants cannot be black. Black cannot be immigrants. That's a contradiction in terms. You are a Somalian immigrant, or you're an African immigrant, or you're a person of African immigrant, African descent immigrant. Okay, and a Jamaican person is a West Indian immigrant, or a Jamaican Indian immigrant, or a Caribbean immigrant. That's what you are, not black.
He's a Democrat shield. RJ, what are the Democrats saying about this scandal? Yeah, y'all can't keep deflecting to Trump, RJ. What are they saying about the scandal up here with the money and stuff being jerked off by the Democrats? What's up, RJ?
What's up, Tariq? You good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm well, Tariq. What scandal? This news to me.
Oh, okay. Up there in Minnesota, man, some Somali immigrants with the help of some others. They're finessing tax dollars, just doing a lot of scams. Just millions of our dollars are being pissed through with the scams that's going on. And the Democrats seem to be assisting these people, but you don't seem to know too much about it, do you?
No, that's news to me. I know about that NFL guy that tried to scam, that tried to pull a whole scam, that white guy that tried to scam black. Trump is doing scams day and night, you know.
He's talking about Brett Favre.
Like,
go holler at Nigeria. Let's get Bushmeat Barrister in here. Yeah, go holler at Nigeria. Bushmeat Barrister, what's happening, Bushmeat?
Hey, how's it going? I do agree with you. Delineation is very important, especially with recent stories that have gone viral. I'm pretty sure you've heard about that foundational Black American man killing an old elderly woman in Barnes and Noble, right?
No, what happened?
Okay, dude. Before he even explain that, dude, killings, murders, that's normal. That'll never go away. Okay, but again, we are in a situation where resources are purposely being taken away from us, being hidden from us, taken away and hidden from us. Okay, we have a history of building something great for ourselves, and white people, white supremacists, just taking it away. Okay, matter of fact, this is a perfect time. Okay, so it's a perfect time for me to do this favor. Let me do this. This is a perfect time for a teaching moment. Okay, so for one, there's something called the 1862 Homestead Act that I cover a lot. Okay, the Homestead Act was this 270. Now I'm walking, by the way. I'm walking. Let me turn my camera. All right, so you see there's no Google. I'm just talking. You see, yeah, I'm just walking, talking. You dig? All right, now the Homestead Act, 1862, is where they awarded 270 million acres of land to a bunch of recent immigrants from, I believe, the UK and maybe other places, but definitely Britain. And free land. 270 million. I forgot how much acres were per person. We had 40 acres. I think it's 4,000 acres, if I'm not. I know it was way more than what we had. Okay, but I could be wrong. All right, I know we were awarded 400,000 acres of Confederate land after the Civil War. Okay. Emancipation Proclamation. I know they got 270 million acres of land. We got 400,000, or we were on paper awarded for 400,000 total acre of Confederate land, and these white people, these indentured servants, 270 million acres of land. I think it was 4,000 acres per person. Don't let me fact check that tomorrow. I keep saying I'm gonna brush up every so often, every month or two. I revise myself on the history of immigration in this country. I haven't had a chance. I may do it tonight after this live or the morning. So if I wake up really early sometimes. So if I wake up 5 a.m. again, I'll brush up on my immigration in this country information. So I won't be so it won't go too. It won't fade away too much. But anyway, it was free land given to them. They didn't work hard for it. It wasn't owed to them. They were in. It's a free gift, and they can keep it as long as they agreed to till the land for 5 years. Okay, now that was 1862. 3 years later, we supposed to have it because we understood. Frederick Douglass was in Abraham Lincoln. We had some other black leaders, black activists, civil rights activists in Abraham Lincoln's ear negotiating land. We understood you need land. So that's what came about the 400,000 acres, and it was divvied up to 40 acres per person. So they call it 40 acres and a mule. Okay, I think a mule to help tend the land. I forgot. But anyway, let's go on. So I think 100 people were to receive 40 acres. It wasn't for the whole lineage. All right. Again, I'm walking freestyling off the top. This is what they can't do. You dig? This is why when I was debating Ross' son, I was walking like this. When I debate Revenue sometimes, Tether New, I'd be walking. I'd be like, yo, if I beat y'all up walking off the top of the head, y'all got no chance in hell if I sit in front of a computer. Are y'all goofy? Anyway. So while they were being awarded all this land, we were promised some land and then it's taken from us. We never got it. It was awarded to us because of the deal. The deal was to fight in the Civil War and help the Union win, and we got some perks. So our land, because we fought for it, their land, it's called white privilege. They were just white and they were entitled to land. We had to fight for ours. We had to risk our lives and put some work in on those Confederates. Abraham Lincoln got assassinated by his own, and because his own, even though they were trying to kill them, they still felt some type of love between the whites, the Confederate and Union, over Foundation Black Americans. Even though we were fighting alongside with them, they still found more love with the ops than their allies. They assassinated Abraham Lincoln. History tell you that was gone. Then we had the Federal Bureau banks. Okay, we had the Federal Bureau. You dig? What happened? The bank got undermined and sabotaged by white supremacists, and the Federal Bureau ended. Resources ended. That went away. Okay, so every time we got a heads up, these bastards literally either reneged, like assassinating Abraham Lincoln and reneging on the 400,000 acres of Confederate land, or just flat out undermining and taking our money like the Freedmen's Bank. I said Freedmen's Barrows Bank, Freedmen's Bank. Just flat out took the money, undermined it, so invested the money. Like this was the bank, again, I'm freestyling. The bank was a savings bank. It was not an investment bank. But these white handlers had started to invest the money. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you get a savings account and your savings are being invested in something. Like, wait a minute, this ain't an investment. This ain't. But anyway, they invested the money in risky investments. You dig? They're rolling the dice. They playing FanDuel with the money. You dig? They were playing draft picks with our money, with our savings. And do you know all of the banks, all of our banks, Magdalene and Walker, Madam CJ, all of our black banks, all of them were savings banks. It was they would not let us have an investment bank. You dig? All of our, who knows that? Yeah, yeah. Again, I'm walking, no Google, off the tippy top. Now, I am going to read something though. So now I'm going to read. Okay, I'm going to read this because he just said, hey, man, a black guy killed. Well, first of all, he said Foundation Black American, brother. How do you know that? See, we got to stop them right there. I ain't letting none of these tethers tell me it's a Foundation Black American without them doing their due diligence and finding that out first. Like how we will make sure a person's non-FBA in a tether. Like, that's yeah. Well, they got to do the same thing. They got to do their lazy ass homework and figure out that this person is not non-FBA, but she's indeed FBA. We ain't gonna let you just say some random tether in Barnes and Nobles deleting a white old lady and that person's automatically FBA. No, sir. So Bush me barrister, if I'm on that call, before we get any further, dude, prove right now he's FBA. I'm throwing you off, and you know that's it. Okay, cause you're being a sneaky tether. Anyway, but I am going to read this. I'm going to read because it's a lot to uncover. So I'm going to read about what happened to us while white folks were getting assistance. Okay, we were being rejected. So while they were getting HOLCs, FHAs, and we were plagued with zoning laws, restrictive covenants, okay, the New Deal. Let's look at what's going on. Because I guarantee you the average tether cannot define off the top of their head what systemic racism is. They're going to all mess up. Because that's not a, you know, it don't apply to them. I'll be shocked if one can correctly define systemic racism. Explain it. Define or explain it. Either one is good. Okay, so I'll tell you when I'm reading and I'll tell you when I'm not, but I am going to read these because these a lot of programs that are kind of similar. So if I try to go off the top of my head, it could kind of like, I know what I'm saying, but I might not express it in a way where it's not confusing. All right. So I'd rather just look it up. You feel me? Okay, so let's go. Okay. So first of all, we're going to talk about racial zoning laws. Early 1900s. Check this out. What was it? It was laws that told people where they could live based on race. So we're talking about wealthy people living in Black Wall Street or wherever else that had money. They were forced to live in their poor, wretched environments. They were not afforded the right to move out and stretch their wings. Okay, and I forgot to add one more in here, and I'll do it. I'm going to speak about overcrowding. Okay, overcrowding. That's something they plagued us with. Anyway, how did racial zoning laws work? Cities passed laws saying white people live here, black people live there. If you were black, it was illegal to move into certain neighborhoods, even if you could afford the home. Racial zoning laws. This is what we were going through. While these tethers were being brainwashed by their parents to hate us and delineate and look down on us. Okay? We were going through this. if you had the money, you still couldn't live there. These are called racial zoning laws, early 1900s. Why they exist? It's to keep neighborhoods racially separate. Okay? It was also to protect white property values and political power. Now, what happened to them? Now, Unbiased Ron, had already talked about this. If you go look at my cookout session with Chaotic Truth, I ran all these down. Okay, so this ain't something I'm learning right now. Okay, people who've been rocking with me for like the last year, they know. Because I used to go hard on this right here. Okay, so now what happened to the racial zoning laws? They were struck down in 1917 as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Okay, but what happened? Cities immediately replaced racial zoning laws with what? Restrictive covenants. So when I asked Rod's son, because he tried to ask me a gotcha question, look at the bad faith gotcha question. He asked me, what was the date that, what year did the transatlantic slave trade take place? Like, he's talking about like what tipped it off. I'm thinking he's talking about like when did the trading happen? I'm like 1580, somewhere around there, 1590, 1600. Oh no, it was 1480. It was like, oh, you talking about like the start of, you talking about when they came to Africa the first time and tried to do raids, got kicked out, died from malaria, all this time. You talking about that? Okay, all right, yeah, but there was no trading. They just try to extract themselves. They try to extract us themselves. And they found out. They messed around and found out. They got to actually come back and negotiate. One second. Okay. So when outright racial bans became illegal, all white supremacy did was change their tactics, not intentions. So every time these tether news say, well, the law was off the books. Okay, so racist white people, so when laws were changed, their hearts just automatically, same time, changed too. So a person whole life bashing, disrespecting, undermining, sabotaging, trying to harm these Black Americans, once the laws change, they say, you know what? Yeah, we were tripping. You know what? Let's go and give them a hug. So yeah, so we replaced racial zoning laws were restrictive covenants. So this came right afterwards. Don't forget, racial zoning laws were struck down in 1917 as being unconstitutional. This is in Jim Crow. Okay, now watch this. Restrictive covenants immediately replace them. So family, when you see a law being changed or a policy, what that mean? That means they're going to come with something else and be more clever. Like restrictive covenants. This lasted for 20 more years. So right when that happened, they had a plan for that. They had a chess move for that. So they came up with this. These were rules written into home deeds that said no blacks allowed. How did this work? When a house was built, I'm sorry. When a house was sold, the contract literally said this on the contract. So when you were trying to go buy a house and it was sold to you, your contract said this as a white Philly person. This home may not be sold or rented to Negroes. Don't forget, first it was zoning laws that made it illegal for blacks to buy a home into white neighborhoods. Illegal. So once that was struck down in the contract, they put it on the deed owner. They said, hey, we can't make a written law saying that blacks can't buy here. So they're definitely going to try to spread their wings and buy here. But we can take this house from you because part of your contract is don't sell this Negro. Okay, so these rules stayed on the house for decades. Even if one white owner wanted to sell to a black family, the neighborhood could sue to stop it. So if one white person had I just love these Negroes. Why they can't live here? They're human like me. They bleed like us. And they say, I'm gonna sell the house anyway. The hell with y'all. The neighborhood can sue to stop it. Who enforced such a covenant? White homeowners, neighborhood associations, real estate boards. Okay, it ended in 1948. Supreme Court said courts couldn't enforce them, but guess what? They stayed on the books socially and culturally. So listen, when you're practicing something for so long, it becomes a habit. Remember, they say practice makes perfection. So they practiced these racial laws for so long, they perfected them. They no longer need the law right there. They already know. It goes without being said. That's like us, like family. Like we had unwritten laws, how to deal with each other, how to respect elders. Like we didn't need signs, respect your elder, and that stuff. Anyway, black families were locked out of wealth-building neighborhoods by private contracts backed by law. Okay, that ended in 1948. Okay, but what happened before 1928? Okay, what happened was the Great Depression in 1929. You had a bunch of poor white people starving, eating themselves alive. 4 years later, white America did some old Homestead Act again. Okay, it did it again. Almost 100 years later, here they come. 1933. The federal government came up with something called HOLC, Homeowners Loan Corporation. This is something I spoke about many months ago, maybe even a year ago. But you got to start with my channel, FBA Defensive Unit. So it won't be on this channel right here. It'll be on FBA Defensive Unit. As a matter of fact, the FBA Defensive Unit was a type of anti-defamation group. It did. I just call it FBA Defense. Yes, you could, but I want the words anti-defamation there. Anyway, so what was this HOLC all about? The big hoopla. It was a government program created during the Great Depression to save housing because white folks were broke. A lot of bank runs, all that type of stuff. So they were losing their homes. They're going to the streets. A lot of homes in default. Okay. So what it do? The government made maps of cities. So this was like the first redlining. This is where redlining stemmed from. So the government made maps of cities. They graded neighborhoods: green, best; blue, still good; yellow, risky; red, hazardous. What made an area hazardous, family? Black people living there. And guess what? Those black people were not called Nigerians, Jamaicans, Brazilians, Sudanese people, Ethiopians, Somalians. These black people were only in mind. So the black people in their mind were only foundational black Americans. At this time of melanated people, we made up probably like 99% of melanated people in the country. A foreigner wouldn't even thought of at this time. Okay, they wanted to stop those who were emancipated. They wanted to stop those who came up with those. Oh yeah, by the way, when we had the Freedmen Bank, that accumulated in like this is ridiculous, family, in about 5 to 7 years, those banks accumulated in today's time, $70 trillion. Okay, $70 trillion it accumulated in today's time. In just 5 to 7 years. These folks were just enslaved. 7 years later, they got $70 trillion. $70 trillion. I think it was like, what, 100 people, 40 people. I forgot the total amount, but it wasn't a lot of people. So when we talk about like greatness and lazy and thugs, are you serious? Like none of y'all countries combined can top what the Freedmen Bank did. Forget about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, and North Carolina, and Black Wall Street in North Carolina. No, forget about what we do now. George Carter. Forget about those people. All these countries combined, the islands and the countries combined, can't top what they did with the Freedmen Bank. 70 million in today's time. Okay. So what made a city hazardous was that if Black people lived there, Black Americans, Black people and Black Americans are synonymous. They weren't thinking about no tether from Africa or no tether from South America, Central America, or North America, somewhere in Canada, Drake, or the islands, all right? Hazardous. Even one Black family could turn an entire area hazardous. Even one Black family, they looked at us as the ugly duckling, somebody that's contagious. Okay, so the red meant no home loans, no refinancing, no repairs, no investment. Straight blackball, blocked out. Okay, so this is where redlining comes from, like I said. So the federal government officially labeled Black neighborhoods as bad investments. And you think when we sue for reparations, you're included? This did not happen to your lineage. But no. Step off. I'm doing how Humpty Hump say, step off. I'm doing the hump. The hump. He did. Yeah, step off. I'm doing the hump. What you talking about? This is Black Americans. Okay. So now that was that. So the HOLC was redlining. It was the color of maps. And then following that was the FHA. So don't forget the redlining, HOLC, homeowners loan. Wait, let me get the proper. Homeowners Loan Corporation, 1933. 1934, coming behind that was the Federal Housing Administration. Okay, now keep in mind, around this time, we came up with Robbins Airport. So while these dusty, starving white people were losing their homes, eating kitchen suits, massive kitchen suits, eating each other, living like dogs, pooping in the streets, we were building airports, flying to Ethiopia, helping them beat Italy. Okay, all right. We built the airport while these people got their hands out for federal assistance, welfare. All right. Okay. So now we got the 1934 FHA, Federal Housing Administration. The program that created the modern middle class. So today's middle class, all these dusty white folks that's thumbing their nose up, the foundation of Black Americans, that's calling us lazy, making it hard to hire us if they have a job, or locking their doors when we walk past. These dusty whites come from the lineage who got welfare in the form of 1934 FHA, Federal Housing Administration. Okay, this created the modern middle class. Free assistance. They didn't work for it. It wasn't earned. Nothing. White privilege. So the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, it made home loans cheap. Low down payments, long-term mortgages, 30 years. Don't that sound familiar? It sounds like the average mortgage today. Okay. Hold on. Well, who got access to the FHA? Okay. White Americans, especially in new suburbs, who didn't have access to these set-asides, to these government welfare programs. Foundation of Black American, and any neighborhood marked red by the HOLC. The HOLC was the organization, the corporation who was redlining cities, okay? That's to get the red from there. The red line, I mean, literally with a red line. They had the green line, the best areas, the blue, whatever was okay, yellow risky, and red was bad. So they're drawing a red line. They're literally drawing a physical red line. That's where the term red lining comes from. They're drawing a red line on certain cities saying, do not rock with these people. So anybody in those cities did not take advantage of the FHA. Okay, so now the FHA's own rule said neighborhoods must be racially homogeneous. Mixed race areas were considered unsafe investments. So now homogeneous, baby. All right. White families bought homes cheaply. Homes appreciated in value. Black families were stuck renting or buying overpriced homes with bad loans, like you see today. What changed? Now they just blame us. Oh, nah, your credit bad. Oh, nah, you work here. Oh, nah, your job history ain't too long. Now they instead of taking like the fault like they did, hey, this was wrong. Now they found a way just to blame us now. Nah, it's your fault. Okay, so FHA built white wealth while blocking black wealth. So family, now you got the definition of systemic racism. It's a seesaw. It's not just about holding black people down or blocking us out. That's one half. It's holding us down, blocking us out, while lifting up white people and allowing them in, giving them entitlements. So it's a two-way system. It holds one group down and lifts the other group up. So the FHA blocking black wealth while building white wealth. Now, so how do they all work together, right? So racial zoning said you can't live here. Remember the racial zoning laws said black people, you can't live here. We don't give a damn. Jay-Z, Oprah, Kanye, Reginald Lewis, you can't live here. Restrictive covenants. Even if you try, right? Even if a white person with a soft heart try to sell you their home, the contract will stop you. They'll sue you. The city will sue you. The neighborhood will sue you, right? Then you had HOLC, redlining. Your neighborhood is officially worthless, like you see today. Easily gentrified. FHA loans will help whites buy homes, but not you Negroes. This was not accidental. This was a system. This is why we call it, or that's why it's called systemic. It was a system. That's why it's called systemic racism. Okay, now why does matter today? You say that's old news, 1968, redlining is done, Jim Crow is over, we're post Jim Crow, we're in integration. We're in an integrated society. Well, the reason why this matters today, family, the reason why I bring it up and Tone Talks and other folks bring this up is because most American wealth comes from home ownership. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that most home ownership comes from, did you know that most of American wealth comes from home ownership? So now look at the people who don't own homes. You think that's by design? Come on, man. Do you think we just don't want to own a home? Because it's possible there's barriers there. But again, they found a way to blame us. Oh, your credit low, your job history. Oh, you don't make enough. Okay. So black families were blocked from it for decades. Black families, again, you see, it don't say black American. It says black families, because black is synonymous with black American. And black American is synonymous with Foundation Black American and descendants of freedmen. Okay, so now look at today effect. Property value gaps, school funding gaps, neighborhood property, right? And there's a wealth gap that everybody talks about. So this wasn't about bad choices as conservatives say, oh, it's your culture. You guys make bad choices. Wait, what choice did white folks make when they redlined our cities and made their cities great and in position for a loan and welfare? And ours were redlined out of the color zone for these same loans. All right. So this wasn't about bad choices. It was about bad laws and policies. So America didn't just discriminate socially, it designed housing policy to lock Black Americans out of wealth, then blamed us for being poor. Okay. Now, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm still here. I'm still here, family. We're still here. I had another question for it. I had another question for it. Okay. It's what y'all think so far. So when they say, hey, man, a Black man, oh, did this to a white lady, first of all, prove he's Black. All right. Because Black is synonymous with FBA. We don't even got to say Black American. When we say Black, we're only talking about us. We don't got to qualify Black. Prove he's Black. And you know what? Let's start just saying Black just on purpose to show them that they're not Black. Because if we just say, hey, prove he's Foundation Black American, that's almost entertaining that they're Black. So we're gonna say prove he's Black. No, he's Black. Clearly, no. If he's an immigrant, he's not Black. Immigrants aren't Black. You don't come into this country Black. You come into this country as a person from your homeland or tribe. Okay, you come into this country as Nigerian. You check boxes that say Black. You check boxes that say African American, but you don't come here as an African American and you don't come here as Black. You come here, there's already Black people here. You dig? So now prove he's Black. Right? And Black is synonymous with Foundation Black American. So we just say prove he's Black. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Just start saying Black. You dig? Because you know what happens is for the sake of argument, for the sake of debate. Once we say FBA, Tariq, your co-leader, oh my God, you guys are divisive. So I'm going to say Black. I'm going to play chess. From now on with these guys, I'm going to just say Black. So it ain't no sidestepping, no straw man, no changing the topic, no Tariq Nasheed bashing, just Black. Really? Prove he's Black. Nah, not Black people. Watch. We are Black people, and our ethnonym is Foundation Black American. That's our ethnonym. But we are Black people, and we're the only Black people. You dig? We use Black as a standalone ethnonym. That means it don't need anything else. Black already assumes foundational. Black already assumes American, because history says we we helped found this country, we helped build it, not found, but we helped build it, the foundation. We helped build the foundation. Well, that's found. That's pretty much found, because this was not a country until it became America. So we can say that. We can say we helped found this country. We helped found this country because the founding was in the foundation. Yeah, so we helped found this country. We helped the foundation, and we never left. And we've been building, and our wealth and our, culture made this country great and greater. You dig? So when you say Black, it's supposed to automatically assume foundational, automatically assume American. The reason why we got to qualify today is because we let it be diluted. Jesse Jackson, slick ass, man. That slick bastard. That slick bastard. All right, so family, let's get to it. So again, racial, just a recap, racial zoning laws. Early 1900s, cities made laws telling people where they could live based on race. Black people were legally blocked from white neighborhoods. These laws protected white property value, not safety. Okay. When outlawed, America didn't stop racism. It changed tactics. They stopped saying it out loud, but they kept doing it quietly. It's a shh. Say it. It's like you can't say racism today. They won't say it, but they'll practice it, which is really is called anti-lineagism. Okay. Houses for decades. Even after courts banned enforcement, the damages was already done. They already perfected it. The practice was done. The laws were the practice. They practiced the laws. But practice make perfect. They perfected the laws. They no longer needed it written. They no longer needed it to be a law. It was in their psyche. Okay. So you couldn't buy the house even if the seller wanted you to. So that good white-hearted American white guy, nope, couldn't do it. So what's next? HOLC 1933, redlining. Okay, so the government drew maps grading neighborhoods. Black neighborhoods were automatically labeled bad. Red areas got no home loans, no repairs, no investment. This is where redlining comes from, family. Let me hurt my phone die. Okay, so the government officially stamped black neighborhoods as worthless because we lived there. Simply because we lived there, they were worthless. You got the FHA, 1934, building white wealth. FHA created cheap home loans for these white people who didn't work hard at all. Laziest people ever to come to America, white Americans, giving stuff. This FHA in 1934 made the suburbs possible. It required neighborhoods to be racially exclusive. Whites built equity. Blacks were locked out. So the middle class was built. Today's middle class was built through this. Okay. Now, the one thing I didn't tell you about was overcrowding. Okay, so overcrowding is simply in the name, right? Because we were not able to leave out of our cities, our neighborhoods legally, and then contractually, right? We couldn't leave. All right. So overcrowding is in the name. Too many people are forced to live in one space. Overcrowding. All right. Now, how did the system create overcrowding? Black families were blocked from most neighborhoods, the zoning laws and restrictive covenants. So everyone had to live in the same few areas. We couldn't spread out. So guess what happened eventually? Our population grew. We had families. But guess what? The housing didn't. Families grew, but the housing stayed the same. This is why a lot of us that's 40 years old and older, a lot of us, either we ourselves or our aunts and uncles live with our. Hold on, let me hear it. Plug this thing up. Let me ever get to where I gotta go. The wall socket. This thing about to die, and it's just getting good. Can't let it die. I should have put the link in the chat. Had I put the link in the chat, somebody could have called in and made sure this thing ain't dying. If it died, they'll be here holding it down. Let me put this link in the chat. Man, can I even do that? I ain't gonna do this shit. Oh, okay. Boom, okay. Maybe somebody from the chat can save the live. Okay. Information deep, right? This information on fire. Now, this is not off the top. I'm actually reading, okay? I'm not gonna lie when I'm reading and lie when I'm not. Like now I can spit this off the top, but I don't think it'd be so detailed, and I think it could be kind of like fragmented if I just freestyle this. And I don't want to freestyle something so important. This history that was done to us. I think it's too important to be fragmented. It needs to be put together. It needs to be well explained so it leaves an imprint on your brain. You dig? So this is what Tethers never went through. But want to come over here and try to tell us something as though we were not already victorious. We're winning. They came and extracted, burnt down, urban renewal, practice HOLC, redlining, zoning laws, racial zoning laws, restrictive covenants. Also, it can lead to overcrowding. You dig? So now you got too many people in one space, one area. Can't spread out. Limited where you can move to. Struck down 1917. Brought back up secretly through contracts. Shut down again 1948. And so that's it. So now watch this. It started in early 1900s. Shut down in 1917. Started back up 1920 to 1948. You think it just died? It's just, let's give up. Let's give up. That's what a tether would want to believe. That's what a white supremacist would want to believe. Oh, white folk just gave up. They say, nah, let's just let the Negroes just have their way. Let me hear it put his phone down. Got to keep this live going. You know, if the live die, right, if it shut off, if I try to go back live again, it's never the same. I never had a live rocking like this where the information is deep and then something happens where the live ends abruptly and I go live again and we get the same energy, the same glow. That never happens. So if this live ends, then I'll just see y'all the next live later. You dig it? Yeah, but this is the information a lot of folks not. Come on, man. Y'all know this rarely comes out. Rarely comes out. I'm the one who did the Lord Jamar expose first. I did the Prophet James Small expose first. I did. I'm the one who gate kept black first. Big. Okay, so you get a lot of exclusives over here. A lot of exclusives. I got something coming up. Got some exposés coming up. So Ross' son, he's still trying. He's still trying. Oh, you said Garvey never owned this shit. Like, bro, I never said that. And if that came out of my mouth, that was a clear slip up. Like he knew what I was standing on. I was standing on. He misrepresented a ship. Is one ship in specific that he said he owned, and he solicits stock sales from Black Americans, and he didn't own it. He knew he didn't own it. That's called scamming. And because Ross' son is a tether, he don't want to acknowledge that. Like most tethers, tethers do lie. So him and the Arabian tether, gotta watch them. They be cosplaying as FBAs to get a pass to hate. But we know you guys tethers. We know you are at the very best suspected tether. You dig? At the very best selected tethers. All right, so hopefully I could get to this socket real fast. Okay. Man, I forgot this damn mixer. I ain't going nowhere. I had to find that plug. Okay. Had to find that plug. Hopefully we're still live. It looks like we're still live. Thank you, Mr. Amirilas. All right. So family, let me go in. Let me finish going in, I should say. Okay. Let me get done with these with the overcrowding. Let's continue with the overcrowding. Shit. Give me a second. Yeah, today was nowhere near as cold as yesterday. My feet was freezing yesterday. Give me a second. Second. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So let's go over this overcrowding. So again, overcrowding is exactly in the wording. Too many people forced into a little space. So Black families were blocked from most neighborhoods, right? Everyone had to live in the same few areas. Population grew, but housing didn't. Multiple families were forced into one house, one apartment, one building. What did overcrowding cause? What is the problem with overcrowding? Higher rent, worse living conditions, faster building decay, more stress and conflict, health problems, easier for politicians to call the area blighted. What the hell is blighted? I gotta know this. I got a thought. Okay. To have severely detrimental effect on. Wow, these guys are crazy, yo. They cause a condition and then blame us. These are some wild people, man. You white Americans, and you some wild people. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to the overcrowding, and then we're gonna finish up on pregnancy discussions with these tethers who are confused on who's Black and who's not Black. Then we're gonna close out. Right. Let's get back to it. Okay, so as you see, they caused the overcrowding, then blamed us for it. These some sick people, man. So what did critics actually say? They said Black neighborhoods were dirty, Black people destroyed property, and we didn't maintain our homes. They forced us to live so many people in these homes, and they looked at the inevitable problems that's going to happen, and then blamed us all throughout their media. Okay, and we're legal citizens at this time. Nobody to defend us. There's no anti-ICE protesters. There's no good whites out there taking bucks for us, trying to run over ICE agents. That ain't happening. These whites are in their place. All right. So the reality was not what the critics said. The reality was that too many people, because there was no investment. And there's no investment because of FHA, right? And FHA because of HOLC. Okay, and HOLC because of restrictive covenants and racial zoning laws. So anyway, too many people, no investment equals decay. That's inevitable. The reality is you can't maintain buildings when banks refuse loans. Overcrowding wasn't cultural, it was forced. They squeeze us into boxes, then mocked us for bumping into each other. All right. So you can't blame behavior when policy calls the conditions, because they would love to say it's our culture. Overcrowding isn't culture, it's confinement. Redlining created slums, not black people. All right. So they created this redlining, created slums. We didn't create the slums. We were living in their creation. If we had access to space, loans, and property, the outcomes would have been different. Obviously, we were trying to move out, and some people actually got out, family, before, I think it was during the redlining property. I said property, during the redlining thing. Some of us actually bought homes in those white only areas, and they chased us out of those homes. So now let's get back to Tariq, the video. Let's get back. Wait, let me drop the link in there again. Nah, it's too late. Too late to call it now. All right, so let me just. Yeah, we don't flee, man. Do all of that. We was like, what's up? Drop your location. What's your addy? We pulling up. All right. So let me. Fucking Lord, I have to wake up my damn son. All right, okay. Let's go back to the.
What happened?
Well, basically, my profile picture, that's his mugshot, basically.
Caribbean, but we don't know. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
There was another black.
Okay, so Tariq Nasheed finally, well, not finally, because we didn't watch it, but he caught him. He said, hey, they could be Caribbean. Like, you don't know if they're black or Caribbean. Don't forget, family, we're taking black. So we're going to purposely say black only to purposely exclude them. So when we say black, we're going to say black like how we say FBA. We're going to say it in a very exclusive, delineating way. But let's just start saying black for now, so they can stop saying black. Because again, if we say FBA, they're gonna look at it as, okay, we're a foundational Black American. So what? Because they are a tethering Black American. Say no, we're taking black totally from you.
Black American woman who was just beating up on an Asian woman because she didn't do her nails right at a nail salon. I mean, it seems like Black American people, they have.
She might be Caribbean. She might be a tether like you. Now, Barrister, how do you feel about your homeland getting?
Okay, so he said she might be a tether like you, might be Caribbean, but I wish he'd have been like, how do you know that's not a tether? I think that would have shut him up a little faster.
Bomb. How do you feel about Nigeria getting them bombs? How you feel about?
They were, I believe Lagos wasn't bombed. It was like Northwest, so a territory like.
He's delineating from other Nigerians.
Full of Muslims and Islams. I mean, I'm not familiar with that area, but it definitely wasn't Lagos or, the highly populated area in Nigeria. If it was if they bombed the, Lagos, the main capital of Nigeria, I'm pretty sure it would be global. It definitely would not be tolerated. But they just bombed an isolated area full of,
with that.
So it's irrelevant.
Okay, so you ain't got no problem with them bombing your homeland.
What do you mean? Obviously, I believe the government leaders agreed to it. I'm not certain about geopolitical issues in regards to Nigeria, but you're deflecting, though. Let's talk about.
No, a lot of y'all are fine with that. Professor Alon was talking to some of y'all tethers, and a lot of y'all are cool with being bombed. That's interesting. Why?
Lagos wasn't.
You talking about Lagos? Yeah, you don't count the other part of Nigeria as Nigeria. It's still Nigeria, sir. Y'all that divided?
Lagos, the area around Lagos, 90% of the population lives around there. They live around that area. So anywhere else is, is insignificant in my opinion. But in any case, why can't you just...
As long as it's not your tribe, you cool with it, right? Sage, hop on, Sage.
Peace and family. How you doing, big bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Good to speak to you. Barrister, how you doing, man? Been waiting to speak to you for a little while, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
That's good, man. Let's get down to it now. So is it the culture that got you guys being bombed over there? What's going on, brother?
I'm not familiar with that. I believe the Nigerian government agreed to the bombing of an area full of Islamic, terrorist groups, though.
Got you. Now, the very little bit of Nigerians that actually live in New York, because I'm from New York, why don't they, in Rosedale, where they live at, where they own their little houses, why don't they band their money together and help the people in Nigeria?
Oh, they definitely do. I know my
when
parents
did they do that, sir?
I can't speak for them, but I know my parents send money to Nigeria all the time. So
your parents, good. I remember you saying that you rent, correct? You rent in North Chicago, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I own property, sir. I don't rent anything, and I own property in New York, sir. So what are we talking about, sir? Is that the culture too that we're talking about here? Renting is your culture?
What does that have to do with the conversation
because you come
about
up here
renting?
all the time and you talk about my people's culture and how we're lazy and our culture's all messed up. And I'm here to tell you that you're talking to someone that does not rent. I have more money than you. I'm more successful than you. And my culture is better than you. So I'm trying to figure out why you say so much about our culture. And when it comes to you guys being bombed, you guys just run away. Is that a part of
They say that those who brag, that means they don't really have that much. So again, that term that a rich man really doesn't care about, basically, if I'm rich, I really won't care if somebody calls me that poor. So, I mean,
Brother
that's a fact. That just tells me that you're very insecure with yourself by bragging and stuff like that.
Hold on, questionable man, about your sexuality. Brother Tariq, when are you gonna go on TikTok again? Because I would love to go live, and we can just go live and see if I have what I'm not talking about, barrister.
So, but why you gotta? So why are you bragging though?
You come up here all
because
the
time
because
you're very insecure. Something about you is you're a very insecure man. You just you're not very comfortable with yourself. And that's a big thing. That's the problem with a lot of Black American people. They're very insecure.
Why is your voice crackling, sir?
They feel the need to be very materialistic and buy things that.
What's wrong with your voice, sir?
There's nothing wrong with my voice. I'm just stating that fact that you're very insecure
and get loud, sir.
You're very insecure.
I'm just saying, sir, you rent, sir, and you come up here all the time and you talking about people in my culture. You even talking about your.
Yo, why do all of these, why do all these people who are anti-FBA be so zesty, man?
You made up a lie about a person that stabbed a person on a train or whatever the case is. Just now, you lie about my culture.
I didn't say a train. I stayed at a Barnes and Noble. I said Barnes and Noble. That's the truth.
You lie all the time.
That's not a lie. That's basically what happened.
Does not mean he's a part of my lineage, sir.
Yeah, that man is a part of your lineage. Look at his name.
What proof do you have, sir?
What you said?
What proof do you have?
So about time somebody called him proof. He said, look in his name. No. I thought that name stuff was true too. No, I came across tethers with Foundation Black American traditional names. No, that don't mean anything. I knew it. I had an Indian kid, right? Indian student kid, whose name was Franklin. That don't mean nothing. Like they take on. I had an Indian kid named Aaliyah. No. They definitely take on American names, white American names, and Black American names. That name theory does not work.
That man is definitely a part of your guys' lineage.
Okay, prove it.
Okay, I would need to prove it. I know it. That man is a part of your lineage.
And this is the problem with you right here, Barris. This is the problem, bro. You say things and you don't have anything to back it up. You have no tangible proof. Tether. That's your problem.
So how can you say that man is not a part of your lineage?
How can you say he is? You have.
Look at his name. Look his name.
That's
it's a typical FBA name. American slave owners, though, arrested a numerous amount of times.
Sir,
That
you
is an
guys
FBA
change your
man.
name as soon as you cross the damn water, sir. What are you talking
No,
about?
my name is ethnic, though, basically. So,
Okay, sir, but a lot of Nigerians' names aren't.
well, at least from the Yoruba tribe, it's very cultural.
Okay,
It's
I
not.
don't give a
We
damn
don't have
about no
American names like
tribe, sir. Again, sir, you guys change your name all the time. The Asians do it, Hispanics do it. They all change their name.
Yeah, they do.
Why are you acting like this is news?
You're trying to deflect from the subject. Let's talk about your insecurities, though. Why do you feel the need?
Sir.
Why do you feel the need to? Why do you feel the need to tell people that you own stuff and you own a home and stuff?
Because, sir, you came to
that doesn't mean anything, though.
Yeah, I can't do that voice. That voice is too. I'm sorry, family. That voice is too annoying. Not tonight. Yeah, I can't do that voice. I'm sorry. Not today. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. So, Yvette Carnell has a video called Reparations, Pan-Africanism, and the Punishment of Independent Political Thought. Okay, hear it out. Hear it out. Don't attack the messenger. Just listen to the message. Now, okay. Now, I don't think she threw a shot at Tariq Nasheed personally. I know her and Tariq Nasheed got this little back and forth thing, but just listen to the message. Like she was cooking them. Remember, Tether was low to ask about reparations. Like they want the specifics and this. Well, she's going to drop some good information on reparations. She's going to cook on Pan-Africanism, and it's going to be pretty good. And look, what you don't agree with, just put it to the side. What you do like, put it in your pocket. You know, ingest it, digest it. Okay, so just give it a try. Reparations, Pan-Africanism, and the punishment of independent political thought. The reason why I'm as sharp as I am, because I don't care about the messenger. I don't say I'm not gonna watch it because the messenger I don't like. No, I will watch it. You dig? Even if it's like ops, like Ruxpin, I'll watch it because I want to know what the opposition is saying. And if they say something good, I take it and put it in my pocket because I do good with it. They do bad with it. So yeah, so just check it out. Check it out. Reparations, Yvette Carnell. Reparations, Pan-Africanism, and the punishment of independent political thought. Give it a try. Okay. Family represents, man. Thank you guys for coming through, supporting. Yo, you make a brother feel good. You dig? I feel like my time and energy, my research is being valued just by your attendance. You know what I mean? I don't feel like you always got to send a cash app or a super chat. The attendance make me feel like my information is valuable. It makes me feel valued. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something great. You dig? So yeah. Give the next video a try before you shoot it down. And what else we got to do anyway? You dig? I'm trying to think.
What is going on, family? How are you doing? Listen, if you all are in the midst of this ice storm, ladies and gentlemen, please, I beg of you, as somebody who cares about you, please don't be outside when the stuff gets started. Now, some of you all may say to me, Yvette, we don't be outside when the stuff gets started. We smarter than that. But aha! I be on these little community apps. I be on these little community apps and I see y'all outside. So I want to say, don't do that again. That's all I want to say. Don't do that again. Because don't tell me that you were not outside, because I see y'all outside. Well, what is open? Is anything open? Do you think I can find some food? Do you think, well, I really am. I really didn't plan for this. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Life sure is difficult right now. It sure is a lot going on with me. And my baby hungry. And I understand all that. But you better get it together. You better get it together in the next 24, 48, 72 hours or whatever it is. It's changing. The thing was one way and now it ain't that way no more. So it was going one way, then it was going north and it went more north. And so, we are doing a little bit better in Georgia, but I want everybody to just mind yourself. I want everybody to just mind yourself and try not to be outside in the snow, because you're not good in it no way. Don't try to, now is not a time to play with yourself. Now is not a time to convince yourself that you're good at something you ain't good at. Now is not the time to play with yourself. Not the time to play with yourself. Listen, for those of you all who don't know, please check out the link that I have pinned to the top to donate to Representative Cunningham. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that's important. We're going to tie it all up. You know how we tie it all up, but it's pinned to the top of the page. You haven't donated, let's get it together. Now, I want to talk to you about something I saw. I was perusing the news as I do. Y'all know y'all be, y'all in the chat laughing. But y'all know y'all be outside when you shouldn't be outside, and you talk yourself, I can drive in the ice. Driving in the ice is like driving a boat, and it's not good. Some of y'all who live in colder climates know it's not good. It's not healthy. You're not going just don't go outside. And fine, if you got to eat a can of beans right now or one of them little microwavable corns and you can't microwave it because it's ice, that's what you got to eat right now. Ain't no other way around it. Now, hopefully this thing ain't as bad as they say it's going to be, but this is what you got to do. Ain't no way. I saw y'all who was out looking for chicken wings. And listen, I love y'all. I'm never going to try to be stereotypical. But I saw y'all. I saw it with my own eyes. I'm in there trying to read a book during the daytime because the lights was out this time last year. The lights went out for a little while, for a day and a half. And y'all was on there talking about, well, is it back open? Is Chick-fil-A open? And I was just saying to myself, you're going to kill yourself trying to get to Chick-fil-A. I don't know where you got health insurance. What's the thing for me? Don't go outside. Give it time. Get the salt trucks time. Anyway, like I was saying, like I was trying to say before, I was trying to warn people about hurting themselves. Before I was trying to do that, I was talking about seeing the news today. And I saw somebody who has talked about ADOS before, and I want to tell you why this is important. I want to talk about why this article to me was important. So I came across this article, and I think it's recent, and it was Robin D.G. Kelly speaking about the forgotten visionary of reparations, Queen Mother Moore, and her call for liberation, not just compensation. Now, I want to say this before I even get started. Much respect to her. I hate that people, because we're doing what we're doing, love to say, oh, Yvette, you are not respecting the ancestors. Yes, I am. I am a continuation of them. At what point do I and this movement get written off by the ancestors? I don't think they would write us off. I think they would understand that they're living through us. And we are advancing the mission. And just because you don't agree, if you can say, it's fine to say, hey, Yvette, I don't agree with 100% of what you're doing. It's not okay to say that you are an intervention as opposed to a continuation. So listen, what she did is and was commendable. What Kelly wrote, I have an issue with, and I have an issue with it for reasons that I'm going to get into. And I'm going to get into how that has to do with independent ideological thought, because I think that's one of the problems we have. And one of the problems that we have is that even people who think they're being independent in terms of their political and ideological thought are not being independent. They're being conformist to the people who are around them. And internally, they are afraid to speak out, and they don't even realize it because you are a part of the thing. You are a part of this whole thing. And you know, in some ways, if you say something different than what you've always said, you will be shunned. And I don't think that is always a conscious thought. I don't think you're always saying consciously, if this happens, then this happens. But I'm going to show you why I believe that. And I'm going to show you why I believe that it is absolutely problematic in terms of our politics. So let me just go through the article a little bit by bit. On December 20th, 1962, an organization called Reparations Committee for the United States Slave Descendants, Inc. filed a reparations claim with the federal government. Now, already, we just got started and already we're on the same page. Right? Slavery, United States slaves descendants. We're on the same page. Like, we are a continuation of all of that. Queen Mother Moore, Callie House, we are the inheritors of that. So, and people have to stop just arguing with us for the sake of arguing, because if you argue with us for the sake of arguing, instead of finding common ground, then that means that I'm not the one who is responsible for missing the moment. That means that you are responsible for missing the moment because you are being intentionally antagonistic for years from the perch of academia, which allows you to do that. Now, arguing that chattel slavery had impoverished generations of black people while enriching white America, the petition demanded that billions of dollars be distributed to black Americans and made a case for giving them preferential treatment, including quotas designed to quickly achieve racial parity. Bingo! Fam, isn't that what we've been saying? This is counter to the case that Kelly is about to make. This is counter to the case that a lot of people like in Cobra and others have tried to make, NARC have tried to make. This is counter to that. What was said right there makes total sense. Somewhere along the line, we decided something very different. But please, again, please do not act like it is ADOS and it is Yvette and it is the ADOS Advocacy Foundation and it is the people who align with ADOS. Please stop acting like we're the problem and that you didn't come in at some point and add a bunch of stuff to the reparations claim that wasn't originally there. And to a certain extent, Queen Mother Moore did that. We're going to show you how and why. And we're going to show you that the people, I'm going to show you that the people who critique and apply an analysis of us never apply it to their heroes. And that is part of what it means to have independent political thought. Political thought is not just about the people you disagree with. You have to apply critical analysis to the people who are your heroes. Listen, people have a lot. People are very easy to apply critical analysis of me, and I'm fine with it. I am absolutely okay with it. I think that's what's supposed to happen. But you cannot just do it for me. It has to be something that happens for even your hero. So let's just keep going. In a pamphlet called Why Reparations, published the following year, Moore wrote that the claim was the battle cry for the economic and social freedom of more than 25 million descendants of American slaves, and called on us. Now, this is him writing this. This is Kelly writing this. And I'm going to show you where it goes wrong. And call on the U.S. to pay reparations as compensation for centuries of unpaid forced labor and premature death, as well as a century of Jim Crow lynchings, which we would call accrued disadvantage. Remember, slavery and accrued disadvantage, Jim Crow, disenfranchisement, rape, and police brutality. The legal basis for the claim it asserted was the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, which had freed black people from bondage and granted them legal rights, and the United Nations Charter and conventions prohibiting cruel and oppressive treatment. Right? Right? So here we are. here we are. So let me go to the next one. Just want to make sure that we're clear about who's here and why we're here. Now, let's go down to the bottom of this right here. Let me make this a little bit. And the UN, let's go down to the highlighted part. And a recent UN report on human rights violations by law enforcement called for reparations and an entire transformative agenda. Ain't that something? I mean, fam, it's easy to see who is in alignment, right? It's easy to see who is in alignment, and it's easy to see where this whole thing kind of went off the road and how we have to get it back on the road. And instead of people kind of deciding that their job is to fight us and to fight for a particular idea, they should decide to get back on board with the original mission, because a lot of people got off mission. It's not just Kelly. A lot of people have gotten off mission and have decided that reparations is not redress specifically for us. It is this enormous global project, to the point to where it's not even a project, baby, it's a prayer. We have gotten this idea that reparations can't happen for us until we free everything. This is a prayer. This is something off TV. This is something I used to watch on Saturday morning on cartoons. This is not the same thing, but I'm gonna I can show it to you. I'd rather prove it than just talk about it. Now, here we go with some interesting things, right? In 1920, Moore married a Jamaican seaman named Josiah Spraggs. 2 years later, she and her sisters attended lectures by Marcus Garvey, the founder of an international organization called Universal Negro Improvement Association. In addition to promoting racial uplift and black nationalism, the UNIA called for the expulsion of European colonizers from Africa and the repatriation of the African diaspora. Garvey's lecture, which was preceded, as Moore told it, by a dramatic standoff between police and the Union Hall full of armed African Americans, captivated her, and she and Spraggs joined. Now, see, this is where you start to get off mission a little bit. You have to be able to critique the elders. You can't, and like somebody can come on and critique the critique. But you're starting to get off missions. You have a reparations mission, which is turning into a global Pan-African mission. And the thing that you should ask yourself about all missions that you decide to get involved with, what are my tactics? You see, part of what happens, I believe, is that we have gotten to a place where we mistake sentimentalism for tactics, sentimentalism for strategy. And I've said this before, but you can have a feeling that all people should be free. All oppressed people, no matter whether they're African or not, I think that's something that we should all feel. If you have empathy, you should feel that all people should be free. And to the extent that you have people here who are willing to be in solidarity with you, you should be in solidarity with them. If you all are willing to help each other, that's something that should happen. The problem is when you try to put all of the projects of the world on the shoulder of one oppressed group, which is us. Nobody does that to anybody else. Nobody looks to one oppressed group and say, listen, you can't get your freedom or any part of your freedom as long as it helps capitalism. Nobody does that. It is only us when we say, if somebody said today, hey, I'm going to help you Negroes get free. I'm going to pay reparations. These people would say, well, that's going to feed right back into capitalism. And if you say, well, what about me? I got to eat. Capitalism. So let me just go down this article a little bit more. She was especially attracted to the party's position that African Americans concentrated in the Black Belt counties of the South constituted a nation within a nation. See, this is where we start to have problems. And this is where I stand with King. We are not a nation within a nation. We are Americans in a country that we built. We are not a nation. When you start to go from redress to global nationalism to we are our own country, then the question becomes, if you are your own country, what you need from us? You are your own country. If you decide to do that, you are sovereign. Right? Only Native Americans, never mind, get to be sovereign again. But and they have that political thing, right? So, and nobody says, like, I saw a great article not too long ago about the horrific stuff that happened to Native Americans when their kids were taken to these boarding schools, right? And it was awful. And I saw there was an article claiming that they should get reparations for that. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. What I would say is, I didn't see any article saying that you can't get any kind of reparations because that could lead to that could feed back into capitalism, and it doesn't lead to indigenous liberation. I only see those kinds of articles as they relate to us. But let me get to, I'm gonna show you where he says that. I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to give you what was said in this article. It was not, hold on, let me put this over here. It was not Garveyism, but it validated her own terms of an independent Black nation. So she joined the party and quickly became, I think this is, the Communist Party, right? So she joined the party and quickly became one of its most effective leaders in Harlem, orchestrating protests against police brutality and Italy's invasion of Ethiopia, and helping elect fellow Communist Party member Benjamin Davis Jr. to city council. I'm always about getting elected officials in place. Kudos. I'm always about that. As well as building bridges to mainstream Black leaders such as Mary McLeod Bethune. This is good stuff, right? But you got to be willing to critique people. The reason she stayed involved, for one thing, the party gave more respect, a paycheck, a vehicle to organize working people, and a political home. I get it. But she also stayed because of her vision of Black liberation entailed the redistribution of wealth, working class empowerment, anti-imperialism, and cooperative economics. In a word, communism. See, one of the things you have to understand sometimes, one of the things that you just have to understand sometimes is that sometimes your mission statement is too broad. When you start talking about Black liberation, first of all, I need to know what Black liberation looks like, because we're talking about ADOS liberation. I need to know what that looks like, right? What are you talking about? Because when you hear people talk about it, they always see 1,000 different things. So first of all, tell me everybody who says that, because I'm taking it off of Queen Mother Moore right now. Everybody who says that, what does it look like? And do I get excommunicated because I don't agree with you about what that looks like? Right? Do we have freedom of intellectual thought? Can we exchange ideas? Or is your job just to talk at me and sort of belittle me and say that I don't know what I'm talking about because you wrote these books? Because if I look at somebody who has a movement that started off as a reparations movement, and now they're doing anti-imperialism, and that's global. I have no problem with the sentiment. I'm an anti-imperialist. I don't want to see America, but I'm an anti-imperialist for a different reason. I don't want to see America going over here dropping bombs and stuff. Bombs are expensive. Did you know that? And did you know they kill people? I don't want to see none of that. No. I want the resources to stay here so that people here can have a decent quality of life, and people who have a decent quality of life sit around a little bit more. They have more time. They have more time to read. They have more time to investigate. They're not just running around talking about how they can't vote, how they can't do stuff because life is hard. I think we diminish the impact of having a decent quality of life, of being able to go to the doctor, being able to come home from work early, leaving your job and knowing that you have something else to land on, knowing that you have a social safety net, knowing those things. I don't think we deal with that now. When we talk about imperialism, how about this? Let's just talk about this. I have an idea. What is wrong? Like, even when we talk about quote unquote Black liberation, all people of African descent, what is wrong with everybody fighting on their block? I'm just asking, because if I think about tactics, there's not a lot that I can do about Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa. Now, we could do the boycott. That's something we could impact because it was our lawmakers, right, It was so much of us, and it was so much, and then but you're limited. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying you're limited. So if you're working on your block and there's something I can do on my block to help you, by all means, let's help each other. If there's something you can do on your block to help me in terms of if something comes up for a vote, or just like it came up here for a vote when the Congressional Black Caucus helped out South Africa when they was under that apartheid with the clerk and all them. If there's something you can do to help. But how about everybody work on their block? How about that? Like, why is it on the shoulder of ADOS that we can't get reparations because all this stuff is happening in terms of imperialism and working and power? Let me just go on. Let me just go on. Let's just go. In the years that followed, Moore fought for housing, welfare rights, prisoners' rights, collective food for impoverished families, defended black men falsely charged with graping white women, and demanded justice and accountability for black men, for black women raped by white men. This stuff is admirable. But let me tell you something. She shouldn't have had to do all that. Some things, and lived into like her 90s doing all that. Lived into your 90s. Listen, if you are a legislator, all of this comes to your desk. Whether it's Congress, whether it's local, you got to deal with all of it. But I think one of the things that has to happen is that, and I think we're doing that a lot with nonprofits now. Everybody has to have this group works with this group of people. They do a lot of incarcerated work. This group over here does a lot with XES assault. This group over here does a lot with this one thing. And everybody gets together where they can. But one of the things that they seem to get us with in terms of reparation advocacy is they make us feel like our job is to be all things to all people. And I'm telling you, we have a lot of organizations now that can do a lot of work. But we have to be very careful about what we take on because we have big hearts. We don't want to see we've been through so much. We don't want to see nobody else go through nothing look like what we've been through. Like, that's the last thing we want to see. That's awful. By that point, Moore had already been advocating for reparations for years. The concept was, of course, not new. Even before the Civil War, black abolitionists had proposed a national indemnity for the crime of slavery. And after the war, many freed people believed that they had, through their unrequited toil, earned the property of their former masters, as well as a reward for their loyalty in the Union. Absolutely. Absolutely. You ain't wrong. Ain't no lie been told. You got to build on that. Not one lie has been told yet. Not one lie has been told. So beginning in January 1962, she launched a year-long campaign. We talked about this, the descendants. Again, but I just want to point this out. Descendants again. United Slaves Descendants. I just want to point that out one more time, just in case anybody missed it. Moore's left-wing nationalism profoundly shaped her conception of reparations. She saw it not as an end in itself, but a means to achieve self-determination for a race and help finance the creation of an independent, sovereign black nation. This is where we kind of go different ways. And let me just say something. That's okay. That's okay. I can even understand somebody thinking that during the moment she was alive. Like, you have to think about all of these African nations are becoming free and you are having conversations with them. I can totally understand the thought that, hey, maybe we could be that. I totally get that during that time. But if anybody believes in 2026 that we're going to be a sovereign nation. Understand that she lived, I mean, I've seen color interviews of her. She lived a long time. But if anybody believes right now in 2026 that we're going to be a sovereign nation, I got a bridge I want to sail to you right over Alaska. You can see Russia from your house. Like so you have to build on that. See, what I think a lot of people do, like Kelly and others do, they just kind of regurgitate and say we have to do the same thing that this or that ancestor did. No, there's a lot of stuff that they didn't know. There's a lot of stuff that they could not see. There are a lot of ancestors right now, if they could see this and see that instead of building on what they're doing, you just kind of regurgitating it and adding other stuff to it, like climate change, and you got to add the age, you got to add the indigenous. They would be like, what are you doing? Everybody has their own claim. It's like I tell people all the time, I hear people say, oh my God, Yvette, what about the Haitians who also deserve reparations because of what America did? And what about Yvette, what about the Native Americans who also deserve? Hey, everybody has to build their own movement. Now, when you build it, I'm happy to collaborate with you. You can't come over here, though, and say, this is mine, too. That's lazy. I don't tolerate laziness. I do not tolerate laziness. Don't come over here and tell me, hey, this thing that you're building and that you have sacrificed for and that your people are working for and have been building for years. Don't come over here and tell me this is mine, too. No. You build yours, build the rhetoric, build the language around. Don't say this is the new black. Don't say we had this problem too. Don't say that's just like what happened to us. Don't do that. Build your thing, build your unique thing, your unique struggle, your unique identity, and then come to me and say, Vet, listen, I want to collaborate. This is our thing. This is our movement. These are our members. We want to work with you. That's what you say. You don't come over here. It's disrespectful to come over here and say this thing that you built, you should let me in. No, I'm perfectly happy. If you want to form Haitians for reparations, and I'm sure there's already a group somewhere that this person who was talking to me should have joined. But if you want to do that and build a groundswell towards that, then you come and we have the conversation. For some reason, we feel like there's supposed to be some kind of automatic inclusion in terms of our justice claim. That's not how solidarity works, baby. Let me tell you, solidarity don't work that way. You got to build your stuff up. Y'all remember how the Japanese Americans, with our help, because we thought we were going to get reparations next. That was strategic. Wasn't right, but it was strategic. You saw how they had a bunch of different Japanese groups that were Japanese American groups that were working for reparations. You got to do that. We have allowed people to just say, well, you know what? Me too. Look, we are the other Me Too movement. You know what? Me too. Same thing happened to me back in the summer. Do y'all know in the summer of 1945? Here we go again. Come on now. That same thing happened to me. That's the same. Do you know that's the same thing that happened to us? The same thing that happened to the Negro? Yes, it is. Everybody has a different history in this country. There's some overlap, right? But everybody has a different history. Everybody has a different period in terms of their mass migration and mass immigration. We were here before this was a country. But everybody has a different history. You have to build out the story for yourself. I see people now going around talking about ISIS, the new KKK. What's wrong with y'all? Like, honestly, what's wrong with y'all? Did y'all have grandmamas and granddaddies? Did people love you, hold you, rub you? Were you not touched as a child, like in a loving way? Because what in the world? If people believe that, believe whatever you want to believe. If you believe that this entity is cruel, I agree. It can be very cruel, especially under the current administration. But you have to build that out. You have to build that out without a comparison to ADOS. Can anybody build out something without saying it's just like what happened to the Negroes? Is that possible? I don't even know if that's possible for a group because that's all I've seen. But they have to get back to doing that. You have to build your story. But because every time they use our story, that's political capital that we lose. Every time they use our story, it loses force. People get tired of, like the little boy that cried wolf. Here you go again, hollering about a wolf. Like, I ain't seen, child, go in the room. They say, the boy getting ate up. Like, every time they do it, our capital should be used for us. Now, you should build your own political capital, work on your own storytelling, understand your own history, and be able to create a unique framework for yourself and for the people that you represent without going over here. I saw somebody hold up a paper of the KKK. I saw Derek Johnson do it. I think it was a Breakfast Club. But I saw somebody else hold up a paper and say, this is the KKK. And because they're masked, it's like the AKKK. You mean the people who were hanging people American citizens from trees just because of race based on lies, as opposed to somebody who is deciding who is here and who is not here legally or illegally and deporting them? Are you saying that those two things are the same because they wear masks? This is not about whether or not the mask is right. This is about what is same and what is analogous. See, you have to have free thought. We got everybody running around saying the same thing. That's why independent thought is so important, because if you don't know, you'll be thinking you are thinking independently and you will be outside saying, you know, it's just like the KKK. And you will think that that's your thought because there's just propaganda in there. There's no independent thought. And we have to have people, be they our representatives, be they people like our advocates, who are able to think for themselves without being punished. And when Kelly and others do this, well, they say you have to, ADOS, adhere to this. This is the path. And if you don't adhere to this path, then you're not on the path to reparations. They're telling us that we're not allowed to have our independent political thought, that we have to yield to them because they are intellectuals and they are academics, and we do not. We do not have to yield to anybody. If anything, what we're saying makes a whole lot more sense than cobbling everything together and saying, hey, we got to free the whole world before we get reparations. And I'm going to show you some more of what was said here, just so everybody understands. To that end, she authored, we're still talking about Queen Mother Moore, draft resolution for the establishment of an independent Black republic. We see we've gotten off the rails a little bit. For me, this is not a condemnation of nobody. I hate when people, anyway, y'all know my heart. declaring Black people a captive nation subject to more than 3 centuries of exploitation and genocide. 6 years later, Moore, now universally addressed as Queen Mother, attended the founding convention of the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Africa in Detroit. But I understand it. I know a lot of people who were serious, who were doing this. And like I said, given the period, I get it. I just don't understand how people are still on this now. Given the period, I get it. The Foundation Convention of New Africa in Detroit, where more than 500 people responded to a call by brothers Gaidi and Imari, I'm not doing that, Obadele, to form a provisional government for New Africans with the goal of creating an independent Black nation in the South. Hold on, that's the same one. Let's go to this one real quick. Let's skip around a little bit. Then, now see, she made her first trip to the continent of Africa, what is she talking about, in 1972 at the age of 73, and regularly crossed the Atlantic until she was well into her 90s. So you gotta watch Africa. You've been fell in love. you been but this is the part that kind of captured me. And as Farmer perceptively observed, this is a person who wrote a book about Queen Mother Moore, her view from the perch of state power, because all the African leaders, pulled her in close and, Queen Mother, combined with her deference to patriarchal authority in the name of honoring traditional culture, began to skew her judgment and expose the limits of nationalism. Let's talk more about that, Kelly. Dr. Kelly, let's talk more about the limits of nationalism. Let's talk about the limits of Pan-Africanism. See, if this paper were honest, it would have gotten into that. Let's talk about the limits of Pan-African. Let's talk about the limits of everything that you're saying is the answer, because everything that he's saying is the answer has limits. Moore came to see African leaders as the embodiment of sovereignty and nationalism, as therefore requiring fealty to those leaders. Fealty, fam. So she ended up defending Sekou Touré in Guinea, Julius Nyerere, I can never pronounce that name, in Tanzania, and most egregiously Idi Amin in Uganda. During her trip to Uganda, she attended state dinners and became Amin's constant companion. Amin treated her like a queen, Farmer writes, and she began to talk of him as if he were a king. Whereas others view Amin as an erratic and reckless leader, Moore saw a Black man standing up for Black Africa. When it comes to independent African states, Moore, so it seems, uncharacteristically overlooked or played down internal class conflicts. Because that's what happens. See, that's what happens. This stuff, this is what they would call mission creep too. Right? You start off, hey, this is reparations. All of a sudden it becomes something else. and part of that is communism, which I'm not criticizing, and it's working class, it's party, and it's imperialism. And now the theme becomes I'm standing up with somebody who is standing up for quote unquote Africa. You see how that, and the reason I try not to get into the politics of Africa. And I'm not talking about your sentiment. I cannot control your sentiment. And I would never say do not have empathy for people who are oppressed around the world. I would never tell you that. What I'm talking about is what can you do? And if you don't focus on what you can do and how you can help, you end up over there having dinner with Idi Amin. That's like, and thinking that that's okay, thinking that he's a leader, he's standing up for Africa, even if that puts you in a place that's less than a leader, even if you are not achieving something. See, goals have to be measurable. You remember what I always say, if you can't measure it, it don't matter. You ever try to lose weight but never step on a scale? You ever try to gain weight, gain a little muscle or something, and never step on the scale? I tried to gain muscle. I was on a scale like this, the little muscle scale where it measures. That can't be right. I've been lifting weights. That ain't right. This thing done broke. That's what, because you have to, if you can't measure it, it doesn't matter. So if you are doing things because, hey, that feels like a good thing, is it in the mission? People around the world, leaders, domestically and internationally, will tell you, come over here and help us with this. This is a good thing. And it might be a good thing, but does it advance your mission? A lot of people who will bring you into their thing because they don't want you to advance your own mission. They want to distract you away from your own mission and your own people. So come have this fricasseed chicken or whatever we doing, and I'm a representation, and they're always going to show you their best side of themselves. And be careful with that. Like those of you all who are leaders in your own right, be very careful with that, because if you are somebody that somebody looks up to or thinks of, they're always going to show you a very good side of them. So you'll be like, no, that ain't who he is. I met him last week. But that's a good lady. That's my dog. That's a good man right there. He's the face of Africa. He's going to show you the best side. You're not going to get the other side. And it's so easy to get wooed. But the one thing that can keep you from doing that is to stay on mission. And you don't see in this article, you had enough words, Dr. Kelly, you had enough words to really get into this. You don't see an interrogation of this Pan-Africanism. You don't see any kind of interrogation or evisceration of this kind of mission drift. It says it's kind of a little soft critique. Yeah, but no, let's get into it. Because if you get into it, we will see, okay, this was problematic. And it's okay for something to be problematic. It's okay for something to be a failure. We can call it that. We learn from it because she did far more than most people do. Most people don't ever bust a grape at a food fight. So nobody is condemning her because she made a mistake or she made a series of mistakes. We see everything, body sees something in hindsight. That's what hindsight does. Hindsight allows you to see, oh, I made a mistake. She made a mistake. You see that in your own life. I goofed. Hindsight is 20/20. Stop refusing to critique these people and squashing everybody else's independent political thought, because you want to believe life is one way, but it's another. Hindsight is 20/20. Right? See what I mean? It's just, let me just skip through this a little bit. Hold on a second. Folks. So here's what he wants us to do. Let's get to the nitty and the gritty, like I like to say, the nitty and the gritty. By tying reparations to Black nationalism and the condition of the working class, Moore shifted the focus from individual payments to institution building, redistribution, and addressing of collective needs. And as a committed Pan-Africanist, she understood the fight for reparations in global terms. These principles governed reparation movements through the next couple of decades, and they are worth reclaiming. I think they're worth throwing away. I'm sorry. They're not worth reclaiming. They were her let me make sure I say this without. By tying reparations to Black nationalism and the condition of the working class, Moore shifted the focus from individual payments to institution building, redistribution, and addressing collective needs. And let me just ask you something. In what world does redress not help address collective needs? In what world do individual payments not address collective needs? Like, even when you think about the need to buy a home, even when you think about the need to make sure your heat is on, even when you think about the need to make sure your check engine light ain't flashing, in what world do individual payments not address collective needs? Now, I have no problem building institutions. The ADOS Advocacy Foundation is an institution. But I will tell you this, if everybody is focused on just surviving and just trying to get by, and I just have enough, I have enough to put something on the light bill, I have enough, I'm trying to get enough for a down payment on the car, cars, everything's spent, I'm trying to get enough for groceries. How can they focus on institution building? And by what right do academics have to tell poor people? Everybody claims so much to care about working class people, but it just seems to me that nobody understands what working class people are going through right now. We don't have time. Nobody has time for none of that you're talking about. And it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If I'm focused right now on, listen, I gotta find a job, or I gotta keep a job. People out here having to do stuff that they used to have jobs and pizza delivery people. Now people have DoorDash. They have to deliver from Amazon, all this kind of stuff, doing this kind of stuff in their own car. And you're going to tell them that they can't get a direct payment, that we have to focus on building institutions. And we have to see things in global terms. You see, I don't even think seeing things I think you have to deal with your corner and your block. Because Africa got, 54 countries? What is me thinking in global terms going to do to help them? And what is them thinking in terms of global terms, in terms of if they think about ADOS, what is that going to do to help them? Everybody has to be active where they are. Like, so much of this just, I don't understand what's happening. I really don't. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there is something where there's just it's almost like there's no thought going on. And I'm not trying to be mean. The dominant discourse around reparations today, after all, treats them as a means to compensate for lost generational wealth, with the goal of closing the wealth gap and creating a path for African Americans to realize the American dream. No, it's like, forget about the American dream. Some things are just old. There was a theft, there was a plunder, and this thing is now old. It's not just about the dream. If you owe me, listen, think about this. I owe you $100, right? I owe you that. I was on the way to work one day, and I said, oh man, I need gas, I need lunch for the week. And you gave me a cool, crisp 100. And you said, Yvette, don't even worry about that. Use that to buy your little lunch, get your little sandwich meat or whatever, get you or whatever you eating on there, tofu, or get you a little food, little rice, beans, and fill up your tank. You gave me a cool, crisp 100, right? That's a debt. That's a debt. I owe you that 100 back. Now, if I come to you and say that I don't owe you that, and you're just trying to create a path to open up to the the American dream with this $100, so I don't owe it, what is your reaction to me? You don't owe it to me because, you know, that's creating a path for African Americans to realize the American dream. The view of reparations does not, what if I told you, the view of reparations does not challenge a capitalist system that inherently concentrates wealth and produces income inequality. It buttresses it. What if I told you that you owe me money and I'm telling you about how how me paying you back is a capitalist problem? What would you say? What would you say to me? What would your response be to me? Would you be like, you know what, you're right. You bet you got it. You got it. Or would you say, let's go outside? Like what would be your response? Or would you think I've lost my mind? See, somewhere along the way, yeah, fam, throw the tomatoes. Somewhere along the way, we have gotten this view that our job as ADOS is to just carry the weight of everything that is wrong with this country, right? The capitalism of this country, what happened to indigenous people, the labor in this, the labor movement, like we cannot have anything because it does not challenge a capitalist system that inherently concentrates wealth and proves and produces income inequality. So it's almost like you want to use us. You want to use us as a prop. And we can't get free because we're a perfect teaching tool when you go into classrooms. You can say, this is exactly why ADOS is on the bottom, and this is what capitalism has done to us, and this is racial capitalism. If we ever got redress, you could say, this is what happened, they were made whole. You cannot have that anymore. Hey, you can't use us as a prop. You got to find something else for your lectures. We're not to be used as a prop, and it's not our job. It's the job of everybody who finds something wrong with this form of this income inequality. And I agree that's horrible. That's not my job in terms of reparations. Now, maybe that's your job. See, I got a problem with people telling me that's my job. That's your job. When you went to speak at this thing, y'all saw D.G. Kelly when he went to Robin D.G. Kelly when he went to speak at this, when he was speaking in 2022 at this Haymarket Books event. It's still up online. Y'all saw him. When he went to speak over there, he spoke at a hotel. They had a certain amount. He spoke at like a Hyatt or something. Let me see. I might have it. I'm just saying, I'm tired of this now. It's getting on my nerves. Stop writing this stuff. He spoke. This is what a conference was that he was at. Now that's a capitalist building, ain't it? Now why you ain't telling them people that we can't have nothing, that we can't do this because this is capitalism and it feeds into the capitalist system? Why is it only us that you say the view of reparations does not reparations is not supposed to challenged, like it can't be something that we can't get redress as long as capitalism exists. Our job is not to teach everybody. Our job is not to be everybody's mule. That's not my job. Stop telling us that's our job to teach people about inequality and that we can't have nothing as long as climate change, inequality, workers' rights. We can't have nothing until all of this stuff is resolved. And repaying us somehow feeds into that inherent a capitalist system that inherently concentrates wealth and produces income inequality. You should fix that. Let me tell you, all of you people on the left who talk about how bad income inequality is, I said it way back when Thomas Piketty, and I said that it was going to concentrate wealth in the top. Hey, maybe that's your job. Stop viewing that as the job of the reparations movement. Now, what you can do is say, I'm going to collaborate with you on this. I'm going to help you with this. We're going to have you fight for the reparations and we're going to do this on our end. Stop telling us that everything has to be on our shoulders and you just show. I don't want to hear that no more. I'm tired of this. This is stupid. Paying people you owe is not something that inherently is not something that is what does he say? The view of reparations does not challenge the capitalist system. My job is not to challenge the capitalist system. My job is to get this debt paid. Right? You all on the left who talk about capitalism and are experts on anti-capitalism, salute. That's your job. And you can be in collaboration with us, but you cannot stop us. You should not stand in the way of us because you think that somehow paying reparations is a capitalist project. You ain't stopped nobody else's payments for that. I saw Native Americans get $20 billion or whatever it was during the COVID, and you didn't call it reparations, but nobody came out and said this is part of a capitalist project and they're going to buy casinos. You didn't say that. This is just the dumbest stuff that I've ever come in contact with. I'm sorry. What are we talking about? And here we go. Here we go. Let me put this up. Similarly, we're more connected reparations to Pan-Africanism, American descendants of slavery, today's most prominent reparations advocacy group. I'm happy you finally realized that, though. I'm happy y'all finally told the truth. I'm happy y'all finally saying ADOS is the most prominent reparations advocacy group, because we've been that for a minute and then nobody want to say it. So I'm happy you finally took to the Yale review and said the truth. I appreciate that. Kudos to you for telling the truth. American descendants of slavery, today's most prominent reparations advocacy group, insists on limiting reparations to only Black people born in the U.S. who have documented proof that it's not about, we have a whole framework. You should read it. That they are direct descendants of people enslaved within U.S. boundaries, as did everybody else. Kelly House, everybody else. Even you just wrote Queen Mother Moore, child. And just because she deviated, in her life doesn't mean that that's not what she started off believing. I think she was right. I think she was right how she started out. But my goodness, kudos to you for finally acknowledging who we are and what we represent. It took y'all 10 years, really, because well, I would say 5, because we've really been the quintessential group since 2019 at least. Good night. Y'all ever seen them old movies? And good night, sir. Yes. But let me put what he said, and I'm gonna be about done. I just want to say this real quick. Whew. People just saying, according to this logic, Black immigrants whose ancestors were enslaved in Jamaica, Barbados, Brazil, Martinique, and any other place outside the United States and the territories that make up the U.S. in 1865 should not be eligible for reparations, no matter how many generations back their ancestors arrived in the U.S. The group's position is both parochial and at odds with the Pan-African politics that animate the movement more initiated. Yes, because it's 2020, it's 2026. It's 2026. Yes. There has to be lines drawn. There have to be boundaries for reparations. We understand that. We understand that even this conservative Supreme Court said they understand the difference between a Nigerian American and somebody who grew up in the South. Yes. Yes, you have to draw lines. Yes, you absolutely have to draw lines from immigrants who came here willingly, whose lives were made better by being here. Yes. This should not be controversial. And I will go so far as say you shouldn't be writing this in 2026. You should not be saying the same thing to me that you or anybody else that you said in 2022. You should have come further than that to understand, like, a lot has changed since then. I don't view us as a conservative movement at all. But that's the way you're writing, as if we're some kind of, like, this is the only path. There is no Pan-African path, and it doesn't make sense, because you're talking about a particular kind of people who have inflicted upon them inherited experience, not just a lived experience, right? And you talk about no matter how long anybody's generated, most Africans came here post 2000. How do you tell somebody? Some came post 1990, but most came post. And you look it up. It's in Pew. How do you tell somebody whose parents came from slavery, who endured multiple generations, slavery, because slavery is what anchors it, and accrued disadvantage? How do you say to that person or that group of people that they are owed the same thing as somebody who got here in 2001? How do you tell that? You should be ashamed of yourself to think it, much less say it. How do you tell that to somebody? How do you say that to somebody? You are owed the same thing as somebody who got here after the trade centers fell. Somebody who got here after I graduated college. How do you tell somebody who comes from like sharecroppers and people who pick cotton? How do you come out of your mouth? Now I understand that Mr. Kelly is I think he's half Jamaican, but like, be respectful, because CARICOM, I'm in favor of everybody who has been oppressed getting reparations in their own way, not here. Everybody can't be pigeonholed here. There's work to do. Y'all have work to do. You should do that work. You should be there doing that work. Let's talk, sir, more work. But to come here and tell us like your debt is the same thing as somebody who just got here. And the majority, that's when they got here. Stop talking to me about multiple generations. Most immigrants didn't get here to the post the Immigration Act of 1965. So stop talking to me about regardless of how long anybody's been here. If you are an academic, sir, you should not be just saying this stuff and throwing this stuff out. You should not be picking up and focusing on random anomalies. You should not be doing that. There's a group of people whose ancestors built the country, who endured multi-generational accrued disadvantage, and that group is owed reparations. Other people came here and got a better life. We are not the same. Stop making this argument. It does not make sense to anybody who is listening to you in 2026. Stop thinking that because of what Queen Mother Moore said when she was alive, that your capacity cannot go beyond that. Yes, it can. We are creative people. We have to deal with life as it is, not how we would want it. It would be a mistake, though, to respond to this assault by promoting a reparations agenda that simply transfers a fraction of wealth to selected Black families in order to strengthen the so-called free market. Ain't nobody doing it because of that. Listen, I'm gonna leave this alone. Because listen, here's what here's what he says we should be fighting for, y'all. If our goal is to root out systemic racism, dude, who has that as a goal? Who has as a goal? Listen, let me tell y'all something. I do not care what a random white person thinks. I care about what I can do. Now, I care about what institutions do. I care about what institutions have the capacity to do and have the capacity to inflict on me. So if our goal is to root out systemic racism, save the planet, and create a durably just world, we must tie reparations to the battle for guaranteed income, living wages, affordable housing, and an organized abandonment of mass incarceration. Family, this is basically somebody saying you're never going to get reparations, because I've tied it to so much other stuff that has nothing to do with reparations and nothing to do with you getting redress that you'll never get it. Like, you have to begin to understand when somebody is anti-reparations. You have to start to understand. You have to understand when somebody says we have tied reparations to 100 things. That's kind of like if you were getting a bonus at work and they tied it to so many things that you were never going to get the bonus. Like, they tied it to everything and they tied it to so many metrics. It was like, it's impossible. Like, that's impossible for a human to do. That's what they've done. It's not about everything that we've lost. It's not about all the wealth that we've lost. It's not about the plunder. It's not about the oppression. It's not about what we have endured, what our people have endured. We cannot have reparations if it's not tied to guaranteed income, living wages, affordable housing, and an end to organized, what was that? End to organized abandonment of mass incarceration. Like I said, this is not political. This is a prayer. This is something you say to God when you go to bed at night. God, I want to see an end to these things. Help me figure out how there is no tactic for this. And to rest this whole thing, there are advocacy groups that just focus on parts of them. To say that we can't have it unless it's tied to all of those things is to be anti-reparations. And everybody has to start understanding that a lot of the people that you think are pro-reparations are anti-reparations because they are unwilling to have any kind of independent political thought, because independent political thought is punished. And we have endured, and I'm not even talking about what anybody believes. I'm telling you that what we have endured over the last 5 or 6 years is a punishment for having an independent political thought that is outside of leftism, that is outside of the Democratic Party. And that is outside too. People, were you conservative? Like, are you Republican? No, but I believe I have the right to have independent political thought. I believe that I have that right. And a lot of people don't believe that we have that right to think for ourselves and decide what our future looks like and to decide what our politics looks like. And this, to me, is kind of it's interesting to me that academics are supposed to be the people who allow for the expression of intellectual thought, that kind of freedom, because I have not seen that here. I have only seen people seek out ways to kind of diminish us and our political thought and our political framework. And that's why even when I talked about, regardless of your politics, when I talked about Representative Carla Cunningham, and I put the link up top for, and you all, if you get a chance, please donate, is because the thing that really caused the establishment to come down on her was independent political thought. It wasn't about this thing or that thing. It was about, who are you to think that you get to think for yourself? Who do you think you are that you get to have a thought that is your thought and not the Democratic Party's thought? And you get to take that thought and go onto the floor of the State House and talk. That's not something that we're allowed, especially if you are somebody who represents actual working class people and spends time with them. You're not spending time in these rooms. You're spending actual time with the people. Fam, we are not allowed that. And we have to not only support ADOS, but we have to support people like Representative Cunningham and others, because the whole state comes down on them, because we're supposed to be like the way people think of like working class people, the way people think of people who come from us, right? And when we come from working class people, we have the way we are thought of, fam, is that we are not allowed to have those kinds of thoughts. And we will punish you for having those thoughts. Y'all know we've been punished for the last, I don't know how many years, right? It's just now starting to level off where people are saying, well, I kind of see what you're talking about. Well, it took you a long time, but I'm not going to judge you. But I do judge you in private, but just not in public. It to your face. And we have to kind of support it. So I pinned the donation tab at the top of the page. If you have some, please give. I don't get nothing. I'm not getting anything. I want to be like, that's over there doing a collaboration. You know how people do. Negroes be conspiratorial as a mug. But that's not what's happening. I do believe that we have to support each other, and we have to find a way to emerge so that we can have our own thoughts. Everybody is trying to police our thoughts. Everybody's trying to police our advocacy. Everybody's trying to police us in a way that we're not allowed to show up for constituents, that we're not allowed to show up for people we represent. We're not allowed to do that. We're allowed to just listen and say, this academic is right, or the Democratic Party is right, or this person is right, or this governor or this leader. Dude, we can't do that no more. We have to be able to lead ourselves. We have to be able to lead ourselves. And some of the people who claim to be in favor of workers' rights and all that stuff are some of the main people who don't want us to lead ourselves and don't want us to decide what's best for us and don't want us to decide what path ahead looks like. They just want to tell us that they know more, or they smarter, or they want to tell us that that's not our job as politicians. Our job is not to think. Our job is just to lead people to the voting booth. Your job is not to think. Your job is to get along, go along, and just say, oh, shucks, boss, I sure do like that. I sure do like a little nice chicken and collard green and cornbread. I sure enough do. And when we stop doing that and we stop, yes, sir, and yes, sir, master, no, sir, master, no, sir, I don't, you know, I don't, I showed on you. Do you like black eyed peas? Like, when we get into the mode of, now I'm gonna read a book and I'm gonna figure this out and I'm gonna tell you what I want to do, that becomes a problem. And that's always been our problem. That's always been the reason we're sidelined. That's always been the reason that politicians who don't just follow the talking points that come out every day. Oh, what's the talking points today for what I got to do today? We got to change that. That just has to change, because we have a right to our independent political thought. We're not idiots. We're not morons. And for me, for one, I'm tired of being treated like that. That's getting on my nerves. So, fam, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to bring that article to your attention to make sure you saw it. And I just want to make sure you're just as frustrated as I am. No, I'm just playing. I just wanted to really offer the critique to kind of demonstrate to everyone just how limited. I think sometimes when we think about people, and when we think about the people who are kind of in power, and when we think about the people who are in academia and supposed to be leading us, we tend to think of those people, if you haven't accessed their information, if you haven't accessed their writing, there's a tendency to think they must be brilliant. They must be saying something that we have missed. And I just wanted to bring that up to show you that that's not the case. We're right, they're wrong, and we have the right to decide what the path ahead looks like. And right now, we're just our advocacy has been co-opted, our politics has been co-opted, and it's time to take that back. Like, it was funny to me when I was listening to MAGA talking about we're gonna take our country back. You never lost it, but we need to take our advocacy back. We need to take our politicians back. We got to do that. And so, I want to thank y'all for showing up today. Listen, like I said, I pinned the donation link at the top of the chat. Also, like I said to y'all, don't think I'm playing. Don't go outside if you're in that little ice storm. I'm not playing. Don't go out there. Don't go out there and get your stuff slipping around. You remember when we had this, there was an ice storm in Atlanta years and years ago. People got trapped on the highway. Somebody froze to death that time. Don't go outside on, what is it, Saturday to Sunday? If you in the mist, if you in the path, I want you to stay your little ADOS butt in the house. Okay, and listen out for limbs. Don't be running around trying to, I think I can make it. That's the oldest Negro ADOS proverb. I think I can make it. We always, and I think I can make it. That ain't far. That's just 2 miles. That ain't nothing at all. I can walk 2 miles and then slid into a pole. So just make sure, and don't try to walk. That's another thing some of y'all try to do. If you can't drive, you think you're gonna walk. And what word is walking safer? Somebody can slide into you. So just be mindful. I hope it's not as bad as they say it's gonna be. But it's gonna be some ice. Okay? It's gonna be some ice. So I would stay in the house and eat some cereal. The milk will stay cold for a couple days. Stay in the house, eat some cereal, do whatever you gotta do. Don't go outside and play them kind of games. They was all on my little, oh my God, on these little neighborhood apps. They was all on there trying to go somewhere. I just had cabin fever. Sit down. We gotta learn to sit down somewhere too. That's another thing we gotta do. Sit down. You ain't gotta be always running around trying to find something to eat somewhere. You can sit down. It's okay to sit down. It's okay to sit down. Relax yourself. If you don't have no lights, you just got to do what you got to do in the daytime. Make sure you charge up your little chargers that you got in the house, and make sure when you buying stuff that you buy yourself some little chargers. When you have a little extra money, you know how we be spending. If you got $50 extra, you get you a little charger. I'm just telling y'all, I'll be trying to find ways to make myself comfortable if the lights go out, because the lights went out last year. I'm trying to find a way to make myself comfortable for that time, but don't try to go out. Why it's gonna be down? Listen, just stay home. Anyway, I will talk to y'all. If you are on Patreon, I will see you Friday at 2:30. If not, I will see y'all this same time next week for the YouTube folks. All right, I will see y'all soon. Keep it easy breezy. And I hope that article frustrated you as much as it frustrated me.
big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And the big game is right around the corner, and that means your last chance to get in on the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Week 2 of playoffs has been electric. After week 1, Drake made all damn day. Stephon Diggs showed up big today. More. New feature alert. Prize Picks now had early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you now may be able to cash in on those winnings before the game even finishes. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Download the Prize Pick app today. Use code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's always good to be right. Don't you love what the play go together, Joe?
Come on, hey.
Whoa, hey, what? Hey,
come on, you can't, don't do that. You can't just jump on the bandwagon just because they won the game now. Come on now.
Ocho, you do know my daughter got a doctorate degree from Indiana, right?
Oh, but your daughter deserves the right to wear the shirt, not you.
Why were you rooting for Miami? You didn't go to Miami.
I was born in Miami. That's the only reason I was rooting
for. My daughter, so hold on. You did play for the Hurricanes?
I said I was born in Miami.
Okay, my daughter, my money went to IU.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
You do that? Hoosiers.
Okay.
You know that, Ocho? That was a good game, though. That was a good game. Very good game.
Hey, let me tell you something. The playoffs, most of the time, we argue and we fussed about the teams that made the playoffs. But when it got down to the nitty-gritty in the championship game, the 2 right teams were there.
Yes.
The 2 right teams were there because this game was very, very good tonight. I would have loved for UM to do a little bit more offensively, especially in the first half. But I'm gonna let you do before we talk about it, I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Nightcap as you watch the very, very exciting national championship game. The Indiana Hoosiers stand atop of the mountain. A perfect 16-0 record. They take down the Hurricanes by the score of 27-21. One of the great college turnarounds in college history. I don't know if we've had a better story than what we have tonight. A team that's been a predominant bottom feeder for the better part of 100 years. And here they are, kings of college football. Y'all know who I am. I am your favorite uncle. That is my partner and co-host, the one that's very disappointed. He's been losing a lot to me lately. I can't wait till y'all see that video that we got coming out in a couple of weeks. My bad, Ocho. We ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. The Liberty City legend. He was born in Miami. He was rooting for the Canes. He's a little disappointed right now, but you know what? He should not hold his head because they put up a very valiant effort.
Yeah.
That is Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please make sure you hit the like button. And do us a favor. Go subscribe to the Nightcap Podcast feed wherever you get your podcast from. We would like to thank each and every one of you, not only joining us tonight, but so many nights before tonight. We cannot do this without you. Thank you. Thank you so much because of your eyes, ears, and your word of mouth. Nightcap has become the phenomenon that it's become. And thanks to you, we'll continue to grow and continue to thrive. So again, thank you for your support and your continued support. Those looking to purchase a bottle of Shea by Laportier and you cannot find it in a state or city near you, head to LaportierCognac.com to order your bottle of 2. We have the original, the OG size, which is a 750. We also now have the junior, which is a 375. It is a premium VSOP cognac, the best tasting premium VSOP cognac on the market. But don't take my word for it. Try it and compare it against other VSOP cognacs, other cognacs in general, and let us know what you think. We believe we have the best tasting cognac on the market. Please drink responsibly and stay safe. Tickets for our Super Bowl live show in San Francisco are on sale now. The link is pinned in the chat. The show will be Thursday night, February the 5th at the Erps Theater in San Francisco Bay Area. We expect you to show up and show out. Again, the tickets for the Super Bowl live show in San Francisco, they are on sale now. That link is pinned in the chat. The show will be Thursday night, February the 5th at the Erps Theater in San Francisco. Be there. You don't want to miss this one. The Indiana Hoosiers, Ocho, they did it. They won the national championship. My cousin, who got that pick, Ocho? My cousin, Jamari Sharp.
Hey, you don't know him.
There you go. Now he ain't my cousin. Now he ain't my cousin.
You ain't no kin to him. Where you from, then? Where you from?
He a Sharp.
Now,
that's all you need to know.
Actually, he from Miami. He from down here.
I got some relatives down there. Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. No,
I do. I got relatives down there. down there in Cocoa Beach. All down there, down there, Cocoa Beach,
Cocoa Beach.
Yeah.
Ain't none of us down in no Cocoa Beach.
Whoa, y'all, hold on. Ain't like y'all inhabited, like y'all landed on Miami. The Johnsons. Oh, so now all y'all Johnsons in Miami.
Yeah, listen, Flowers, Johnson, Rolls, your Franklin. Yeah, we dominate down here in the side in Miami. Hey, matter of fact, I might be wrong. I'm asking probably to check that. I think he is from Florida. Ask if you could check that. You got to fact check me before people jump on top of my head now.
No, Jamari Sharp.
Jamari Sharp. I think he is.
Jamari Sharp. He undercut a deep right. I don't know if Beck was thinking he was going to back shoulder him or what because the receiver.
Wait, that last play?
Running. Yeah.
You can't back shoulder that in the safety
in the middle of the field. That's got to be a sideline throw.
He got to let that go. He got to let it go.
Oh, he went to Northwestern. He is from Miami.
Yeah, he went to school with. That's Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I knew him from the crib.
But they won the national championship after what many thought was a Cinderella season last year. Yes. They won up last year. Mm-hmm. They won up. The first team, aren't they the first team to go a perfect 16-0? No team has ever won 16 games. I think the most was 15. Clemson won 15, and I think LSU won 15. Yes. But now you got the college football playoffs. Now, so plus they won the Big Ten championship, and they won 3 games in the playoffs. Now, here we are. We have a team that's won 16 games.
Oh, that's crazy.
Kurt Signetti, take a bow. What you've been able to do with this program in a short span of 2 years.
Yes.
Nobody can boast what they've done. I understand that there have been some turnarounds, but not like this, Ocho.
No, not like that fast.
Ocho, let's talk about the game, and we'll talk about the program as well. Okay. Let me get Mendoza's stat. Mendoza was 16 of 27, 186. Kaylon Black was 17 of 79. Roman Henry was 19 of 60, so they ran the ball 43 times for $132. Mm-hmm. Carson Beck was 19 of 32, 232, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Mm-hmm. Mark Fletcher Jr. continued his hot streak, 17 carries, $112, and 2 touchdowns. He took off that long 57-yard run to get him back in the game. Malachi Tony, 10 catches, $122, and a touchdown.